The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
My name is Farouk Kouaim.
Hey, I'm Justin Pollock.
What's up? I'm Jeff Jones. Hey guys, Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro 1 driver, and I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Welcome to AutoZone, the streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S. We are here on the streets of Long Beach. It looks so good. It feels so good. This just feels right. After 2 years, 5 months, and 2 weeks, we are back to this iconic track. What began in 2005, Sammy Hubinette winning that first ever inaugural round here on the streets of Long Beach. Here we are. We're going to find out who wins here. Round 7. Normally round 1. I'm Jared Dienda. Next to me, by my side, is Ryan Sage. We'll get Lorette Nickel in the mix. And, of course, thank you to our judges, Ryan Lontaine, Brian Eggert, Chris Yule. Ryan, what's going through your mind? From yesterday to today, the scene is set. Again, normally round 1. Here we are. Next month, we culminate another season. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's such a rich history here in Long Beach, not only where the sport kind of started, where our business basically began, but also just so many years here doing the Long Beach Grand Prix, doing the port, and now we have this event, this event that usually kicks off in April, is now in September. The city of Long Beach, the fire department, special event staff have been so gracious to us to allow us to have this event once again after such a long time off. And it feels the same to me. It feels like a Long Beach event. I love this event so much. I love the fact that the course is so well defined because of the walls. There's crazy high action. We saw some awesome qualifying yesterday, and I am just so excited to get ready and get right steaming into the top 32.
Yeah, traditionally this track, you know, it's the Widowmaker, and I always say that here you have the silly season, you know, aka the off season. You get your car prepped, and we just throw you into this menacing track. Like you said, unforgiving, but in a great way because there's no gray area. You know, we go to Atlanta, which is probably my #1 favorite track, and it just because of the history there, as you talk about. But there's no gray area because the walls, they don't bend, they don't move, but it also defines the outer zones, the inner clip. I mean, there's no cones. I love this track. You know, just like you said, the whole history of it all. But talking about history, let's talk about history this season. We've seen a variety of people, and it all kicked off, as I said, in Atlanta. Normally here's round 1, but Atlanta was round 1. Odi Bakshi, Chelsea Denofa, Matt Field. Chelsea Denofa with 3 wins overall this year. Frederick Osbo, surprisingly, Matt Field with only 1 win, still leads the charge.
Yeah, the championship this year has been super interesting. Odi Bakchis once again got off to a tremendous start, but the story thus far, or the theme of the season, has really been about Matt Field and Chelsea Denofa. Now into the late hours, we've seen Frederick Osbo come on, and I think, as we mentioned in yesterday's broadcast, I think that is very dangerous for the championship contenders, to see Osbo get into form, peak at the right moment, and try to go for that second championship. You can see just how close this championship is. I mean, we've got 5 guys that are within 100 points. And I think when we go to the 6 through 10, there's actually 6 or 7 guys that are 6 guys that are within 100 points. So mathematical possibilities still exist for guys all the way up to Vaughn Gittin Jr. And even to the guys that still have, some more to give here in the championship. But right now we're really focusing on probably those top 3 or 4 guys have the best possible chance. But really, it's so up in the air. I mean, 20 points separate first through third. I mean, that's crazy. I don't remember the last time that we've seen something like this close to the end of the season.
I think that's a testimony to just, it could be anybody's weekend. Even my wife asked, who do you think is going to win? From 32, even to 16, it still could be anybody's game. And that's a testimonial to just everybody's pedigree of driving, vehicle build, caliber, everything overall. Speaking of progression and just overall, the only year missing there is 2004, which Sam Hubinette. But look at those names. I mean, iconic drivers of the Formula Drift history book. If there's a Hall of Fame, those names are going to be on it. Reese, Sam, Tanner have obviously amazing careers now as they've progressed on, but there's a lot of competitors that are still involved with this series. Vaughn, Dye, want to see Daigo Saito come back. I know he wants to. And, of course, James Dean. And it took Vaughn Gittin Jr. 10 years to get a second championship.
Yeah.
But overall, just some iconic names in motorsports history, not just drifting. But I'll bring in our third member of our broadcast team. Again, I'm Jared Dieta, but let's throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette, what's up?
Hey guys, of course I wanted to talk to Frederick Osbo, our winner out of St. Louis. And man, Freddie, some goofy things happened yesterday. We saw you go into the wall. Are you okay? Is the car okay? And what did the team have to fix?
I'm okay. The car is okay. It came back into the pits after. It was a really hard hit on that first outer zone. Basically tank slapped the car into the wall, sent me into the next offset wall, and came back in. And I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I was like, whatever. It's just metal. And then the boys went back to the shop in Carson, started wrenching all night to get it ready. We got through qualifying, got second in qual, which we're really happy with after a crash like that. And as they were fixing the car, the earthquake happened, and the epicenter was right there in Carson. So I think Aldo thought he was really strong there for a minute as he was wrenching on the car, but she's all 100% again. I'm good, so now we're ready for top 32.
That's all we care about, is that you're good. This Long Beach track, very tricky. How do you stay out of trouble out here?
Yeah, good question. I mean, yesterday's crash was the hardest I've had here so far. It's a track that takes no prisoners, and the only way I think to really get through there unscathed is to go step by step. Every run you got to work into it a little bit to the point where you feel comfortable. Then you can start adding a bit more grip, and then you kind of build your confidence up that way. And it's a very different animal compared to a lot of these other FD tracks. And I have a lot of respect for it, but also had a lot of fun here up until this point, so I'm ready to send it today.
Frederick, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck. Guys, back to you.
Thank you so much, Lorette. Let's take a look at Frederick Osbo's run yesterday. Again, he scores a 97 with, Freddie really, showing up in spades, but just was only bested by Justin Pollock. Super looks great, like you said. The back end, it's seen better days, but that's a testimonial to a great run. So this is how it looked yesterday after that wall incident. But Ryan, he puts it all together here. So just to give you, this is a great course preview here. Touch and go. Goes under the bridge. There's your first outside zone as he got in the zone, auto zone, second outside zone. Now he's going to transition here. This is a touch and go, not an outer zone, but you want to get close to that wall, have a nice sweeping apex past that final front clip. But Justin Pollock did it slightly better because they both had a 97, but elaborate.
Well, the point of difference there, I think, is that Osbo's major deductions were on line. He didn't really get all the way out to outside zone 2, but you can see Pollock here was able to get all the way out to the zones and fill them. Now, the judges don't require that let you tap the wall in order to get full points online. But if you pass a certain threshold within a few inches of that wall, you're going to get full points. But what you are going to get if you really push the pace is you're going to get that really high style score. And that's what did it for Justin Pollock.
They both tied style.
Yeah.
They both tied style. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
And that's what did it for Justin Pollock, was the accumulation of all those things together gave him the nod over Frederick Osbo. Yeah, sorry. Knew you were going to get there, but both taking different routes. But here is our top 32 drivers, and it's great to see a full field. No bye runs here, so everybody's got to earn it. No fast passes into the top 16. Some notable battles here. You got to take a look at the leaderboard. Matt Field going against Kazuya Taguchi. Chelsea Denofa against Eve Meyer. Had a bit of a difficult day yesterday. And Frederick Osbo, he's going against Trenton Beecham, local hometown boy here from Southern California. And then Ryan Turk is going against Dean Carney, who had some issues, had to go into the not so great 8 yesterday. Dean Carney losing a power steering belt, and then going in. Here's another course preview here, courtesy of Torque Drift and Dai Yoshihara. So play the game, Torque Drift. Yeah, you can see right here that last standing cone for the initiation, reaching out to the touch and go. Now, touch and go just means you need to get the back bumper in that area somewhere. However, for these zones, the judges want you to fill the zone completely, be as close to the wall as you possibly can without compressing the bumper into the wall. Right there is our outside zone number 2. Here's the second touch and go. Now, this area here is really trying to push the drivers to set up to have a nice apex, kind of pushing out towards the wall after the finish line is the line that they're looking for. We talked a little bit about that in the drivers meeting this morning, is how should I approach that last inside clip? Well, the drivers want you to take a line that pushes you out wide and gets you to that wall that's on driver's left. So that is the course preview there by Torque Drift. Now here is a look at a really important map that will probably not be used as much as other courses, because there's really only 2 significant areas here on the momentum map where drivers are changing momentum in a decel kind of way. So the decel areas here, that's on initiation, that's obvious. You see them coming down that front straight. They're going to decel real quickly before they get back on throttle. And then that last inside clip, just past out touch and go 2 or right as they approach it, and then going through that inside clip. So the reason why this map is relevant is because if we get a collision or contact between 2 drivers and it happens in a decel area, they will be looking at the chase driver if they didn't allow the lead driver to decel appropriately. On the other hand, if we get collision outside the decel area, that could be a chase driver pushing too hard into the lead driver, or a lead driver making a mistake decelling in an area that they shouldn't be. Here are some goals really quickly just to clarify even more, Ryan. Run the qualifying line, run a 100-point qualifying line, run a chaseable lead run, and follow the decel map, as we said, and you elaborated definitely in depth about where the decel areas are. So here are the chase driver goals. Initiate no later than the last initiation point. You got those 3, 2, 1 cones going into basically the naked eye of the judges here. Maintain close proximity to the lead driver. Match or better the lead driver's angle. Anything you could do, I could do better and deeper. Mimic the lead driver's transition and lines. If you're new to this sport, it's that's nuts and bolts of it, but then it gets a little hairier. And if you're a veteran and a fan of this sport, been around since 2005 or following since 2004, here are the points at stake and online. And Ryan, you talked about how many drivers are within 100 points of first place, and that's why. Yeah. Technically, mathematically, if you're within 200 points now, you still have a mathematical chance to win the championship. But I think really, at this point in the season, you got to be below 100 points to have a fighting shot for the championship. And what's going to be really important, Jared, is how some of the battles may potentially match up in the earlier rounds. The top 32 is set. We know which guys are going to be going up against which guys. But when we get to that top 16, if we see that Chelsea Denofa might be facing Matt Field, where's he going to face him at? Well, he's going to face him in the Great 8. Is it possible that Ryan Turk could have a early matchup with Frederick Osbo? Well, the way the bracket's laid out, it's not going to be until the Final 4. So those championship considerations will come into play depending on how these drivers perform. But in the top 32, what we've seen this year historically is that anybody can win at any time, like you said. And we've seen some incredible matchups in the top 32 to set that final bracket for the top 16, so you can't count anybody out. And I know we always try to do a good job looking at the crystal ball. As we fly over the course, what were the first, this is our Air Force trivia, by the way. Thank you to United States Air Force for their support of, obviously, our country and of the Formula Drift Championship. What were the first women to fly in the U.S. military? What were they called? The Wasps, the Aces, the Riveters, or the Roses? Again,
first women to fly U.S. military aircraft known as. You're going to find that question. If you want to know the answer, go and click the link in the live stream in the description. You'll click it on there. As speaking of Air Force, when we come back, it's time to party here on the streets of Long Beach. This is the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach presented by Type S. I'm Jared Deanna. When we come back, top 32, our first battle on deck, our number 1 qualifier, JTP, versus last round's number 1 qualifier, Alec Robbins.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. Synergy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
No. Seriously?
Oh, come on.
Oh, no. You for real?
Dale.
Really?
Wow.
So maybe just a cable?
We can help you.
Welcome to America's #1 battery destination, AutoZone, your battery solution.
With performance this raw, you need air that's pure. We started with a firm belief that innovation could improve performance. With the success of 50 years and millions of filters behind us, we continue to look ahead. Guaranteed to protect against dirt and proven to provide up to 50% more airflow. This is filtration for the future.
The Pedal Commander is the world's most advanced throttle response controller. It's a plug-and-play unit that unleashes the power of your vehicle. Has 36 total settings, is easy to install, and makes the driving experience so much more fun.
Picks up RPMs way better, kind of like a race car, it responds.
Order now and use code FD2021 for $30 off your purchase.
With your Type S course preview here at Formula Drift Long Beach. Actually launched in second. Get through the chicane, put third, rev out third, then into fourth, and hard on the brakes and the e-brake. Initiate into turn 9, the first corner here in Long Beach. Get out to the touch and go, over to the first outer, stay in the gas all the way through to the second outer. Now downshift to third, transition back into the last corner and grace the inner clip, and over the finish line we go. I'm Frederick Osbo, driver of the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra.
There it is. Had a fan yesterday says, "Oh man, where's the car show?" This is yesterday. I said, "Dude, it's coming today." There it is. So you got a car show across the bridge, and as we look down on turns 9, 10, and 11 of our traditional race course, we got our VIP tents there, the blue and whites, and the judges are positioned just off camera as Lorette Nichols down there with Chelsea Denofa. Lorette, quickly, let's get
Jared.
to it.
Yeah, well, we're so excited. Chelsea Denofa loves this track because it's dangerous. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, there's really no room for error out here, and it's not a circle track, so it's extremely exciting to me. It's more than 2 turns, so it's extremely exciting to me. And just overall, it's blind. You can't see the next turn as you're approaching, and you're really relying on that lead car driver when you're in the chase. And when you're a lead car driver, you're really relying on getting to that next spot where you can see the next turn and basically power to that.
Best of luck, Chelsea. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Lorette. Good luck to you, Chelsea, as they are jumping in that Pedal Commander burnout box. And you can see the, what's that? What do you got, Ryan? What's going through your mind right now?
Just looking at you.
Okay.
I was going to ask you what you ended up doing for dinner last night.
Oh, I appreciate that. I saw some old friends of mine I've known since 4th grade in high school. Went down to Beechwood Barbecue, and then, of course, ended up at the Pike Bar. Pike Bar, the best bar in the world in my eyes. All right, speaking of bar, Justin Pollock raised the bar yesterday. Justin Pollock and Alec Robbins. So coincidentally, our #1 qualifier this round, and Alec Robbins from Becker, Minnesota, #1 qualifier in St. Louis. And he had to get scrappy yesterday. He got that final number 32 spot as he went to the final knockout qualifying 8 and had to earn his spot doing double time there, and he definitely did that. So here we go. JTP will lead, and Alec Robbins will give chase. And we are sending cars for the first time here after 2.5 years being on hiatus. It's great. It feels so right. It feels so good.
There's always a little breath holding on this first battle.
Why? What is that? Just like, I mean, we're just the announcers. Imagine the drivers.
Because of the energy.
Got it. Here we go. Send it. JTP. Alec Robbins coming to the view of the judges out to the outside. Quick little touch and go. Justin Paul gets out there. Alec Robbins on the struggle bus right now as JTP with all the clean air, absolutely putting it down and doing exactly what he needs to do. But Alec Robbins having a tough go, man. That's intimidating. Here you are, number 32 qualifier going against #1 qualifier on this unforgiving track.
Yeah, Alec Robbins going back to St. Louis absolutely blew our minds that event in qualifying, and then had a tremendous crash. It was a little bit scary for a minute there, but really turned over a new leaf. Now against this battle with Justin Pollock, it looks like he's fighting the car a little bit there, and it ends up biting him to the point where he has to stop drifting. So it's going to be an incomplete for Alec Robbins in the chase position. This does put Justin Pollock in a very favorable position in his chase run, assuming that Alec Robbins doesn't need to use his competition timeout to take a look at the vehicle. But you can see the kind of problems start there for Robbins. That front end just kind of grips up, stops drifting. Now Justin Pollock in this case, because the chase driver incompleted, he would need to finish the run. He did do that cleanly, and so he's going to have a big advantage going into run number 2.
All right, making their way back to the line. You can see our next duo back in the background. Justin Pollock's going to whip it around. And like you said, Ryan, a very favorable position for JTP, Justin Pollock. Alec Robbins leading in that Facetto Nissan 350Z. V8 powered Z, and of course the Ford power plant powered by Roush Performance. Sam's Autoland on the front end of that vehicle of JTP. Shout out to Sam Kaskanian and Dwight Tanaka, always great hosts. And we are sending cars. We are clear to send. Alec Robbins going to get that clean air. You can see the starting lights right in between the vehicles. The chase car can jump the lights, but not until they're extinguished can the lead car leave the start line. Alec Robbins sends him into view of the judges, gets to that outside touch and go. And Justin Pollock chasing him down. Didn't get as deep as Alec Robbins, but he knows he has an advantage here, so he really doesn't need to pour all of it on there. Just really kind of show up, show some presence, And there it is. That's going to be an easy win for Justin Pollock after, unfortunately, Alec Robbins' mistake on that first portion of that battle.
Yeah, and if you're watching this as a drifter yourselves, you're at a Pro-Am, you're coming up, this right here, this move by Justin Pollock is just a really good example of a driver that understands what his car is capable of and what position he was in the event competitively. He had a driver with an incomplete. He could have stayed back. He didn't. He kept control of the vehicle, kept the proximity and the pressure on Alec Robbins, but he didn't take too much of a risk to where he's putting himself in a situation where he might have run into Alec or made a big mistake that could have nullified the incomplete by Alec in his chase run. So this is a great job by Justin Pollock. It'll be an easy win, as you say, and unfortunately for Alec, he'll be going out in the top 32, but JTP, who had a really tough event in Erie, 0 points accumulated, is trying to fight back. He was doing so well, had a complete engine failure, is now looking like he's back in the hot seat once again and doing a great job here in Long Beach.
So Justin Pollock gets the easy victory. He will advance on into the top 16. We'll make it official here in just a moment. And jumping in the Pedal Commander burnout box, I can hear off in the distance Jonathan Narin from North Carolina going against Chris the Force Forsberg, piloting his Nissan 370Z. Chris said he's been battling a sinus infection, so he says he's not feeling 100%. That's why his qualifying yesterday, and we'll make it official. Slide him left for Justin Pollock, right for Alec Robbins. You know the drill. And there we go. JTP officially now gets the win and moves on to top 16. All right. There we go. Off into the pit area. We do have an official halftime, so he's got some time to think about it on and get his vehicle dialed for the top 16 battle. And there's our next pair. We are sending cars. Jonathan Narin will lead, and this should be a fairly equally matched battle. I mean, Narin, trying to recall if he's even ran here at Long Beach. He would have to be back in 2019. I can't recall if he did, but Chris Forsberg, obviously so much history here with this track. Here we go, Forsberg chases him down. Jonathan Narin, whoa, gets out of that touch and go, really digs deep into that touch and go area. Forsberg now applying the pressure. If he wasn't feeling it yesterday, he's definitely feeling it here today. Ryan, look at that. That just shows all the equity there, what he's done. Narin really coming out swinging. But Ryan, you talked about it yesterday about how deep is too deep. Was that too deep in that touch and go? Remember, just hit and quit it, but he went bumper deep on that thing.
Yeah, and Forsberg was forced to make a really kind of a defensive move to protect himself here. Narin goes super deep right there. You can see Forsberg angled up now, coming back across. Forsberg is making adjustments here to try to get back in the fight. The front end almost washes out there from Narin in his lead position, but Forsberg is certainly keeping the pressure on throughout the entirety of the course. There's no surging element here. This is going to be a big area where the judges are going to take a look at what the impact there was to the chase driver. You can see that Narin, when he made contact, he went a little bit deeper than he needed to, and then he wasn't able to fill that second outside zone. You have Chris keeping a lot of pressure on him, making adjustments to the lead driver, which is what he should be doing. But in some sense, you know, did he get too close there, you know, on outside zone 1 where it could have been worse than it was? Touch and go. So we'll mix things up now and have Forsberg go to the lead as Jonathan Narin will chase him down.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. How close is too close? You know, just some drivers you can kind of predict what's going on, you know, based off of qualifying or history. Narin, you know, doesn't have a ton of history here in Formula Drift. Third year, he's been banging away for a few years here, but this is a new vehicle for him. He was piloting a Ford Mustang for a couple years, but you saw Forsberg just throw even some more angle at it to really slow him down. So Forsberg will now lead. Narin will give chase. What do you got, Ryan?
Nothing, just, you know.
I see you conversing with the judges.
Yeah, just asking them how they're doing.
Got it.
They said I'm doing good.
Yeah, they're staying out of the heat.
No, I wanted to ask them what they were thinking about on the first touch and go and how they were judging Narin versus Forsberg.
Their perspective. Okay, thank you. All right, Chris Forsberg will now lead. Oh, look at this. Going in, Chris Forsberg does not get out to that touch and go. Looks like Narin having some troubles there from the start. I definitely want to take and focus on the initiation, Ryan. Did Chris initiate at the right time, or was he thrown off? Didn't seem like Chris got all the way out to that touch and go, and that might have been, you know, kind of at Chris's fault. Let's take a look at that again as Forsberg lead and Aaron gives chase.
I think this run is going to have more of an overall impact on the overall battle than the first part of the run. You know, looking at that touch and go where Naren made contact, this run here, as Forsberg initiates, Naren is surging forward and he falls off the line. Now, Forsberg doesn't get out to the touch and go, but now Naren is a non-factor in the battle. And it looks like he was just pushing a little bit too hard there because Forsberg was going to get back on throttle. Remember that we have that decel zone, and then driver should be back on throttle to push out to the touch and go. And you can see Forsberg is back on throttle, but he's not able to get all the way out there. Naren may have kind of mistimed or misapplied the pressure, and then he was playing catch up the rest of the run. He kind of became a non-factor there. That's kind of how I'm seeing it at first pass. I think that this run will have more of a weighting than the first run. The first run, you know, there were some mistakes on both sides, but it started with that touch and go, and then we saw Naren with that front end washout. And looks, the scores are coming in pretty quick here.
So again, I was maybe thinking that Chris maybe slowed up, but he initiated at the right point. Was that what you saw that he did?
Yeah, he initiated fine and he got back on throttle at the right point, and there is a decel there, so chase drivers need to kind of watch their pace. The one thing that we allow chase drivers to do is that they can initiate at the last standing cone. And that means if the lead driver initiates earlier, say the third standing cone or the second standing cone, they still have time to make an adjustment there. And what that does is it allows them to get closer to the lead driver on initiation. But if they mistime that, or if they go a little bit too deep or too late on their initiation, they can get a little bit too close to the lead driver. And I think that may have been what happened here.
All right, so Chris Forsberg gets the win, and he will be going against JTP in the top 16. And now we move on to a driver that has really progressed. You know, our director was like, what are some surprises this year? Not surprises, but somebody that, you know, not everybody has been on the podium, has held the carbon fiber trophy, right, as we create those signature trophies. Dylan Hughes, he goes back-to-back third places in his home track of Evergreen Speedway, and then he gets in St. Louis. He's going against Simon Olsen, and walking here up to the track during practice, Simon Olsen went hard into the wall earlier. He does have a new clutch from yesterday. The clutch was having problems. So Simon Olsen in his spotter, he says, man, it is just a tough weekend for us here. And Simon Olsen piloting that 2JZ BMW, excuse me, the 2JZ Supra compared to the 2JZ BMW. So we got 4 JZs out on track. Holla ho, as the royal purple BMW comes into that touch and go, gets all the way out there. Simon Olsen about middle of the track. Dylan Hughes a little bit late on the transition under the bridge. Simon Olsen does get that proximity, but not as deep as the dozer, Dylan Hughes. Like I said, Dylan is just on a tear. You got to think, Ryan, his absolute confidence coming into Long Beach has got to be really strong.
Yeah, Dylan Hughes has all the attributes that help contribute to a successful drifting program. And more recently, he has started getting that one thing that everybody wants, and that's results. We're seeing here he got a great start on that first outside touch and go. He gaps Olsen a little bit. Olsen is left playing catch up here, but he's really tight to the touch and go. Outside zone one, he could have been a little bit deeper there. That allows Olsen to surge. He's on a slightly tighter line here, so he's going to close the distance faster. And as he gets into that second touch and go, he draws a perfect line, pushes out towards that finish line, up against the wall, and really overall a solid lead run.
Yeah, I really liked where Dylan's head was at. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is kind of a Naren Forsberg situation, even a Pollock Robbins situation. How much history do they have? You know, with Simon Olsen, you know, being a new contender here in Formula Drift. Hopefully, you know, his spotter, his pops, is over there watching, kind of getting in his ear, like, okay, you know, you have maybe potentially a little bit of advantage, similar to that of Pollock and Robbins, but you know, hey, you got to apply the pressure, and this is great practice, getting another practice run. You know, hopefully if he advantages, or Simon Olsen, you know, he's hoping that Dylan Hughes potentially makes a mistake in that chase position.
Yeah, the chase run here for Dylan, extremely important. Olsen is a really tough competitor to get past. He's had some moments this season that have been really, really fun to watch, so this is not a gimme by any chance. Dylan does have to keep the pressure on here to advance on to the top 16.
Simon Olsen will be leading the 2JZ powered Toyota Supra, coming to us from Norway. Another Supra, another Norwegian, but definitely a different power plant. Looks like our spotter looking underneath the vehicle, making sure everything's all right. Wonder what's going on. Matt Sopa checking underneath the vehicle. All right. Looks like all right, looks like underneath the vehicle it does check out. All right, we are good. Don't know exactly what was going on, but making sure it was all good. Yeah, Olsen, I'm sure, you know, had some, I know I walked up, like I said, at practice, he got in tussle with the wall. His back hatch was off to the side. His wing goes over to the side, so he smashed it up pretty good, but right now, he's going for the gusto here on the streets of Long Beach. His first time out here, this iconic track. Dylan Hughes, he needs to make his presence felt. Simon Olsen doesn't get all the way out the touch zone, definitely fills that first outside zone. He gets to the zone, and the second outside zone. Dylan Hughes, great proximity here. Looks like he does mimic his line, which could have been deeper by Simon, but I'll tell you, again, when we went through that lead follow kind of expectations and the chase expectations, I truly believe were met by Dylan Hughes.
Yeah, he did a pretty tremendous job here of utilizing the lead driver as a moving clipping point. Notice that it doesn't go all the way out to the touch and go, and Dylan anticipates that and was able to make that move quickly and stay on the line that Simon is driving here while maintaining proximity. So he's doing all the things that the judges are asking for here, and I think we're continuing to see his development as a driver. Those 2 third-place finishes are great results for him, and I think he's going to get another one here.
All right. Here we are, make it official, slide him left for Hughes, right for Simon Olsen, and there we go. Dylan Hughes gets the win. Dylan Hughes advances on into the top 16. Hey, Lorette Nickel, who you got down there?
Well, I have our #1 qualifier that just took his win, and JTP, it feels so good to be back at Long Beach, and you said you veterans have a home court advantage. Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this track is unrelentless. It is unforgiving, really. The entry, if you don't get that right, you mess up the entire course. And I think, like us veterans being away for 2 years, coming back, we got the muscle memory back real quick. And I feel bad for these newer guys that haven't ran this track, because this is a track that just takes time to get the line down. It's not going to happen in a day. I mean, I've been doing this for 13 years here. I've ran back when we were running full track. We've done so many team drifts here and super drifts, and I got a lot of time here, as do a lot of these veterans. So we definitely have a bit of an advantage, but man, it feels good to be back here.
Yeah, and it must feel a little bit different too, because you're not debuting a new car here in Long Beach, so different feeling there?
Yeah, absolutely. Typically when we get here, I'm like just done getting a wrap, like all fresh Anderson Composites carbon panels, and I'm like, I don't want to touch this thing, I just want to put it in the car show. But we've already been through almost the entire season, and it's like, hey, if we scrape the bumper, whatever, there's already scrapes there, so we get to charge extra hard this weekend.
Justin, thank you so much. Jared?
Thank you so much, Lorette Nickel, and thank you, Justin Pollock. We'll see you in top 16 going against Chris Forsberg. Right now, Jonathan Castro, Dan Burkett. Look at the smiles on these faces right here. Same age, different parts of the country, or different parts of the world in that matter. Both Toyotas. We got the old school Mark IV Supra, and then we got, of course, the Toyota 86 of Jonathan Castro, the Jerome Metaldom Toyota Racing Toyota 86. So we'll see where they land, who's going against Dylan Hughes in the top 16. Castro, Ryan, you said yesterday, little Castro greeting. Gave you a little wink and a gun.
Yeah. And
did he blow you a kiss?
He was up here last night as well.
Oh, okay.
He really went for it yesterday in qualifying. And he came up here and said, look, when I go into the wall, I don't really have that much room to collapse. So my car is the attitude may shift. So what do you want me to do? You want me to go into the wall, or you want me to graze the wall? You tell me, I'll do it.
Okay. Well, let's see what he does here right now. Goes to that touch and go. Oh, he goes into it hard. Does affect the attitude of the vehicle a little bit. Dan Burkett seems like he's a little timid. He's a little wall shy, if I may. Coming down to that final touch and go, and then into that final inside clip. I want to back this up, Ryan, as you're kind of segueing into that touch and go, and Castro went pretty deep. He went bumper deep, and it did affect the attitude of the vehicle. Dan, I believe, was maybe a little shy of Castro as well.
It was a slight miscalibration here from Castro. You can see taps the wall. It affects the attitude of the car, but where he's going to be able to get some back is Dan had some mistakes in the chase in trying to mimic the line and angle that Castro was driving. Now, Castro also went a little bit longer than he should have in outside zone 2. So in terms of the lead run, there's definitely areas where he can improve. I like the fact that he's being aggressive. He's getting back on throttle, but he's pushing a little bit deep there, and you can see it affects the attitude of the car. In that area where they come back across, if it affects it in such a way, it almost looks like the car goes straight for a second, and then you're quickly kind of transitioning to that outside zone 2. I don't think that the judges are going to be incomplete for that. And Dan's mistakes in the chase are going to be enough that Castro has something to work with here on his second run. But nonetheless, we just see how unforgiving this course is.
Yep, it's a tough one, and I liked what Justin Pollock said. He's like, you normally we're kicking the season off and got fresh wrap, brand new. You just want to put it in the car show. That was, I think, the statement of the weekend. A lot of the drivers and teams' testimonials. He put all this blood, sweat, and gears and beers in these things, and then throw it right into a wall. It's definitely menacing. Here we go, Dan Burkett. The lead driver has the right of way coming into that touch and go. Dan Burkett comes up a bit short, but definitely deep on that first outside zone. Get in the zone, auto zone. Past that touch and go. Castro giving a little bit of room here. Crossing the finish line. Burkett ends kind of middle of the lane.
Yeah, I think for Castro to kind of push the ball into the goal line, he really had to have a very strong chase run here. Let's take a look at Dan's lead. Dan is not able to get out to the touch and go, and so the line that he's driving here is going to be a faster line, and Castro is going to have to adjust. Better job on outside zone 2. Castro almost washes out in the smoke there and is kind of left playing catch up the last third of the course. So this is a bit of a back and forth battle where we're seeing mistakes from both drivers, but this touch and go here, one good thing that Castro did is he made an adjustment that quickly allowed him to kind of stay on the back bumper there and not get pushed out to the touch and go. Now, Dan should have gone out to the touch and go, but he didn't do that, and so the judges are going to be weighing these mistakes to see if there's somebody that they can point to and said, yes, that driver fulfilled more of the criteria, and they should move on.
Judges calibrating, inputting their verdicts here. Okay, we got it one more time, and it looks like Jonathan Castro gets the victory. So Chris Yule going one more time, and Ryan Lontaine put his headset on. Elaborate, please, if you will, Lontaine. All right, as Castro gets the victory again, it was not majority rules. Lontaine, what do you got? All right, we'll get with Ryan Lontaine there momentarily, as we will get with Lontaine and get some elaboration. Ryan, can you hear me now? No, I cannot. All right, well, we'll get back to him. As Castro will be going against Dylan Hughes in top 32. But, right, we'll move on. Michael Essa, Federico Sharifo. See the BMW and the Ferrari, as we talked about yesterday. Ryan, Federico, 48 hours of traveling, bouncing back and forth, getting here, showing up, almost didn't qualify. We had 33 drivers, but salvaged a run on his second run and gets into the show. Can he advance a past Michael Essa, former champion, qualifying fourth, very quick through the course. That Ferrari is, it's the only drift Ferrari of its kind in the world. And Michael Essa knows that the BMWs are very proven with him behind the wheel. Here we go. Michael Essa will lead. Federico Sharifo giving chase. Coming into view and through that hard right-hand 90. Out to that touch and go goes Essa, the FCP Euro Liqui Moly BMW. I mean, this is what Michael Essa does. He just ticks all the boxes in just a quick, expedited manner. That right there is a high qualifying run. Federico got a little bit of a clinic there in that chase position. saw exactly where he needs to put the car, as now he will lead. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
Well, the precision that we've seen from Michael Essa this weekend has just been unbelievable. I mean, look how close he approaches that touch and go, and how smooth the transition is to outside zone 2, or outside zone 1 and then to 2. Comes off, gets right up against the touch and go. Now Fede's in the fight here for sure, but Michael Essa's lead is so standout. Here it is from above. You can see Fede closing the distance here, but Essa just getting right up, literally an inch away from that wall. Beautifully done on outside zone 1. Great line to outside zone 2. And you can see the fluidity is really a big factor here. And that final inside clip pushes out towards the wall, which is what the judges want to see. And a great start for Michael Essa in the lead. Fede will now have his shot, as Michael Essa will go to the chase position.
I like what you said there. That was a great buzzword. It can really define Michael Essa precision, you know, just, and like I said, just the way he gets through the course so quickly, and with that, you know, it's not super snappy, it's just delivering exactly what the judges want, but now he's going to be chasing down Federico Sciarrifo, and he saw in that chase position was kind of struggling getting the car all the way out there, so Essa's got to take a tempered approach while chasing down Federico, and Fede really needs to rise to the occasion after, again, just such a treacherous adventure getting here to the streets of Long Beach. But as he DM'd me yesterday, he says, you know me, Jared, I never give up. Federico Sciarrifo, Triple F, drifting department, GTB Ferrari. There he goes, almost gets out of that touch and go, but he's gonna fill all that tap, that back bumper on that outside zone. Taking a very shallow line, doesn't get to that second outside zone, definitely gets out to that touch and go and wraps around that final clip. Ryan, like I said, I believe Fede did step up when he was out front, but was that enough?
Definitely an improvement overall from Fede from some of the qualifying runs, but still suffering from one of the same kind of faults that he had yesterday, and it's after outside zone 1. He has this tighter line here where basically he has to forego outside zone 2 altogether, and Michael Essa has to make an adjustment. But Michael Essa is keeping a really good pace here. He's close enough to keep the aggression on and show that he's in the fight, but he's also back enough to where if Fede makes some mistakes, he can also make those adjustments.
All right, waiting for the outcome here. A great overhead view of the two vehicles, and here we go. Looks like the verdict is in. Ryan, I have to, unfortunately for Fede, I'm assuming they're going left for Michael Essa, and there it is. Michael Essa gets the win and advances on in an FC Piero Liquimali BMW. Congratulations, Michael Essa. Unfortunately for Federico, his weekend is done after, like I said, happy to see him here in the building, but he will have to park it. All right, Lorette Nickel, you with the dozer?
Just getting ready down here. We're just grabbing Dylan down here. Dylan, man, it is so good to be back on this track, but there's some slippery sections out there.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of slippery sections out there, honestly, and it's like right where you expect there to be the most grip and right where you want the most grip is where there is no grip, mostly on touch and go 1 and judges wall. So coming into that is incredibly difficult to judge, and I've kind of been struggling with it all weekend. So I've definitely bashed the back of this car off of the wall more this weekend than I ever have since I've built this thing. But we're out here having fun, stoked to be in Long Beach. I live about a half hour south of here, so I get to sleep in my own bed at night, and just super stoked overall. So good job to Simon Olsen. He did a great job, and looking forward to going to the 16.
Good luck, Dylan. Thank you. Jared?
Thank you, Dylan, and thank you, Lorette. Yeah, he's moving on to 16s, has some time to kind of think about it. And like he said, I remember yesterday he came up after, qualifying. He's telling the judge, he's like, dude, that is super slick going to that first touch and go, and he was just kind of very animated about it. One of his great friends, another P&W member, Travis Reeder, he's going against one of the most local drivers here, Kyle Mohan. Dylan was talking about he lives 30 minutes. I think Kyle Mohan just fell out of bed into his car. That's how close he lives. All joking aside, would love to win here in his backyard, but he's got to get through Travis Reeder, who is on a tear. Travis Reeder initiates. Kyle Mohan's taking a bit of a tighter line. He's going to need to get close as Reeder taps that wall, dragging bumper. You talked about it yesterday. Kind of late on that touch and go, but Phil's gets in the zone. Look at that. You see the bumper pop up. So he's going bumper deep, but I don't think that's as deep as we've seen from some of the other drivers. Travis is just, it's great to see him really flourish here. What are your thoughts?
Well, he's had a breakthrough season for sure, and Kyle Mohan has kind of fixed some of the gremlins that have plagued the vehicle this year. As we look at the touch and go on outside zone 1, I love the fluidity, the way he connects those two to outside zone number 2. So in terms of like checking the boxes as a lead driver, he's really doing a great job there. I mean, maybe 90% of the way with a couple little mistakes here and there. Mohan is in the fight for sure. And now as we see this transition here to outside zone 2, he's going to pick it up the pace a little bit more, and he stayed in outside zone 2 a little bit longer than he probably should, but overall it was a great lead run from Reeder, and Kyle Mohan was certainly in the fight, so good battle underway here.
Now Kyle Mohan up front, and Ryan, I liked what you said. You spoke with Mr. Mohan, his dad. What has he changed from his vehicle for his vehicle from St. Louis to here?
Well, they were fighting something in the steering that was having an effect on how the car looked like aesthetically, and it was really making the car move around. It looked like it was unsettled, and it wasn't as fluid or smooth. Twitchy, and now you notice, right?
Yeah.
It's much smoother. It's much more fluid.
Especially in qualifying yesterday.
Especially in qualifying, and we're even seeing it here as well in tandem. So I think this is a really good news for Kyle, but he's got a lot in his hands right now with Travis Reeder.
Kyle Mohan getting those GoPros affixed. The renewable lubricants, Mazda Tricks, Mazda RX-8. And Travis Reeder and his Link ECU. BMW, he runs a LS under the hood. Link ECU, the official engine management unit of Formula Drift. We're in the NOS Energy Drink Top 32. It's the second run of Mohan and Reeder. All right, fans beginning to stream in here, live in the building. And here we go with the second run, Mohan and Reeder. All right, here we go down the chute through that start chicane. Reeder gets into formation. Mohan with a solid initiation. Can he bring it all the way out that touch and go? Yes, he can. Taps it, hits it, quits it. Feeling all that sickness outer zone. Travis Reeder having a struggle right now as Mohan really showing up here in his backyard. Something to prove from Kyle Memenis Mohan. A solid lead run. One of the best runs I've seen from Mohan. Where'd that come from? That was solid.
Yeah, we're getting the look up here from the judges like Kyle Mohan is here to play. Reeder sticking to him. He goes a little bit too inside on his chase there, and it puts him on a tighter line. He has to make an adjustment there, and he falls off. Kyle Mohan deep into outside zone 2, nearly getting to the wall, transitioning back around to that touch and go. Here comes Reeder, and I'm already hearing the judges ask for a side-by-side. So this is a close battle here, and Kyle Mohan is definitely here to do battle at Long Beach, trying to make an impression on his home course and looking solid. Whatever they did to the vehicle, Dad, great job. Kyle Mohan is looking awesome.
Yeah, I'm just over here looking at the spotter stand. I don't know. That was, yeah, what happened last night? Whatever he ate last night, let's see that again. Maybe at Irwindale. Awesome showing there from Mohan. Again, his best performance years ago was 4th place here in Long Beach, just one spot away from being on his first ever Formula Drift podium. That was years ago, but would love to see it here in 2021. All right, as we await the outcome, I believe the judges are requesting a side-by-side here. This is our BC Racing side-by-side. Ryan, what do you think is the point of interest here?
Well, I know obviously they're going to be looking at the mistakes that were made and seeing if they can add them up to a point of difference for one driver over the other. But I think Kyle was so outstanding in a number of areas. I could definitely see this going one way or the other, but it also may be too close to call. And that's the judges' tough job that they have every single event, every single battle. So we'll find out what happens.
All right, as we talked about Travis Reeder just rising and progressing throughout the season. Mohan, he's here in his backyard. Slide him left for Reeder or right for Long Beach's own Kyle Mohan. Kyle Mohan gets the win. Our lone rotary in competition. Seeing top 16 for Kyle Mohan, number 99. Yeah, the spotter stand is erupting.
Going nuts right
Everybody's
now.
pretty hyped for Mohan. Again, his best result back in 2010, 4th place. So, you know, it's great to see Mohan, the lone rotary in competition. There are a lot of Mazda fans out there, and they're elated as well.
Yeah, congratulations to him. Obviously, it's a unanimous victory.
Yep.
So the judges all on the same page there. And then Ryan, do we have your mic open? Are you live now?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, there we go.
Hey, everyone. That was incredible from Kyle Mohan. It really came down to Travis Reeder's chase run. He didn't position his car very well after initiation coming towards touch and go, and that's really what kind of gave Mohan the win. The leads were very similar.
Mohan's lead was solid, though.
No. They were very,
tighter.
very similar.
Yeah.
They both tapped the touch and go with the back left corner of their cars. Mohan got really deep. He did a very good job. He could have been a little deeper on zone 1, but look how deep he got on zone 2. If they focus in, they did get it the right view there, but he got really deep on zone 2. Really smooth, on throttle everywhere he should be. But it's really what Reeder did in the chase that that gave Mohan that extra little, bit that gave him the win instead of a one more time.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ryan Lontaine. Hey, previously, I believe you're going to elaborate about the Castro-Burkett battle, right?
Yes. Yeah. Burkett's lead, unfortunately, contained many errors, whereas Castro's, he just had after that hit on touch and go, on the rotation, the car didn't rotate as smoothly as we'd like to see it. But unfortunately, Dan in his lead had multiple errors, it was not, shouldn't have been given the win for that reason,
There we go. All right, thank you, Lontaine. Here we go. 2 veterans of the sport, day oneers, Dai Yoshihara, Kenshiro Gushi. Dai Yoshihara initiates. Look at Ken Gushi getting close, but Ken Gushi has to back off. And now Dai under the bridge. Now coming to that second outside zone. Dai a little bit deeper than Gushi. And now coming to that final inside clip, both of them looking good, but
I think they may have gotten into each other
yeah.
right after initiation, pushing just prior to the touch and go. Let's take a look at that, and we'll see if that was the case. I thought I saw some bumping going on, so it's going to be prior to that, but let's look at the run here from Daijiro Yoshihara. Looked incredible yesterday in qualifying, had a high qualifying score. He's so smooth and consistent on this run. Ken Gushi on a tighter line here, and the judges would like to see you follow that lead driver out, and you can see also a reduction in angle there as he approached, more of a straight line approach. This is where we'll get a look to see if there was any collision, or excuse me, any contact. I think right there, see that little bump right there? So I think Ken Gushi's left front may have touched Dai. It didn't seem to have too much an effect on Dai, but it may have had an effect on Ken. And as we see this second, or this run one more time, you see that line that Ken was drawing was just a bit tighter than Dai's, and not following him on the course in that area right before right before the touch and go into inside clip number 1. So we'll switch things up now. Ken Gushi will take the lead, and Daijiro Yoshihara will chase him down.
Jokingly and lovingly, they really play up the who's Kenshiro, who's Daijiro, and I know people that have literally called Dai Ken and Ken Dai. They play it up too.
Yeah, and those guys are great friends.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bummer to see him battle out in 32. Somebody's got to go home early. Both guys from Southern California. Let's find out who it is.
Here we go. Kenshiro Gushi initiates. Dai Yoshihara, you can see him pedaling back a little bit. Gushi gets all the way out there at touch and go. Now transitions under the bridge. Dai Yoshihara looks like he takes a shallower line now, and Gushi swings it wide, brings it around into that final inside clip, gets lost in the smoke there. Dai Yoshihara, little hesitation on that inside clip. You can barely see him through that smoke.
Some good redemption here. Good comeback from Ken Gushi in the lead. Took advantage of that open air position. It's back on the throttle, deep into the touch and go. Nice smooth fluid transition outside zone number 1. Connects it well to outside zone 2. Now, Dai is making a couple little mistakes in the chase. He also
Look at that.
suffered from that
Oh,
tight line.
boy.
It goes on the inside of inside clip 1 and nearly stalls up there. Up until that point, he'd actually been doing okay. I think he'd been doing a better chase run than Ken's chase. But that last area there is
That's
essentially going off course, massively off course, and then also having that straighten right before the finish line. You could see the painted red line on the edge of the K-rail there, indicating where the finish line is and where the drivers need to drift through. So that may cost them, and we'll see what the judges think here. But the run is now finished. It's either going to be Ken Gushi or Daijiro Yoshihara.
2 veterans, like I said, day oneers from 2004, and they are waiting in their great-looking cars. Turn 14 distribution, Falcon tires, Subaru BRZ of Dai Yoshihara there on the left, and then the white Ready Performance Toyota Racing Toyota Supra on Nexon tires. And waiting the outcome here. Not making it easy on the judges, like you said, Ryan. Some mistakes from both the drivers in that chase position. Who was tidier, who was more aggressive, who had the proper placement, and Dai with that major mistake in the chase position into that final front clip. All right. Judges inputting their scores.
You got an intuition on this one?
I think don't leave it in the judges' hands, and I think they just left too much up. I actually saw the results. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
So here we go.
Cheated.
We got it one more time. We got it one more time, and there we go. They're going OMT. I didn't cheat. I said I admitted. If I would have cheated, if I would have said yeah. All right, here we go. So we're going one more time from these veterans. But Lorette Nichols, I have to assume, with an ecstatic driver, who do you got?
You have no idea. I heard the tower erupting, all of the drivers, the mechanics, clapping for Kyle Mohan. It's been 3 years since he's taken a top 32 win and in front of your hometown, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible. Long Beach, hometown. We just got our first advancement in years. The Renewable Lubricants Mazda Tricks KMR team, hands down, just did the best work. And with the crowd roaring, my family in the audience, I was so happy we were able to put together solid runs when it mattered, and we got an advancement. This means so much to me and the team, and yeah, and for Long Beach. This is my town, so just super happy. And you know, Exity and Ignite, just so many people. Federal Tire have helped out. This has been a wild year. I've got new team members. I've got new partners and sponsors, and to have it come together in my hometown finally, this is what I was looking for. We're going to go out there and we're going to shred even harder in the next round.
Love it. Congratulations. We'll see you in the top 16, Jared.
Yeah, I can feel I'm kind of welling up thinking about it. You know, he's a dad now. You know, he's a husband. He's a dad. His dad is his spotter, and you know, that's cool. I'm stoked for him.
That's the hype right there,
That's
man.
hype, dude. That's hype.
Yeah.
Speaking of hype, a driver that gets a lot of hype. He goes from the YouTube, and here he is in the building. Adam LZ going against, always a contender, Odi Bakshis. This should be an interesting battle. LZ really needs to twist the screws. Oh, that's going to be a restart. Odi Bakshis hitting that cone. So Odi Bakshis will lead. He qualified 12th compared to Adam LZ 21st. Odi Bakshis ripping it back to the start line. What do you got?
Yeah, just going to remind any new fans that are wondering what the chicane is, how it works. The lead driver must get through the chicane cleanly so they can't hit any of those cones, and they also must leave the light within a beat after it extinguishes. We saw some issues with that in last round, actually with Kyle, where it got knocked out of competition because of that. However, the chase driver can leave whenever they want. Yep. They can give themselves an advantage. The whole idea is to get those cars into the first corner as close as possible, but we do only allow for 3 strikes, so now Odi has 1.
Odi Bakshis will lead. Adam LZ giving chase. Odi in the Falcon tires, field suspension, S15, running that supercharged LS. And here we go with that 2J, Adam LZ, S15. That first outside touch and go, LZ tracks him down. Odi feeling get into the zone, that first outside zone. Odi Bakshis doing the same. Well done into the second, and now finally, LZ gaining some grip and going to the wrong side of the inside clip. I want to see that angle there. I believe he kind of pulled a Dai Yoshihara, and he was on the wrong side of that inside clip, Ryan.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Jared, and it may, be something that is too hard to overcome, but we've got 50% of the battle done, and look at Odie. Back bumper compressing a little bit, but right up against a wall within 6 inches of outside zone 1, outside zone 2. Great line being drawn there. Here's a really good vantage point, getting right out to the edge. Excellent job by Odie Bakchis. Closing now is Adam LZ, but taking that tighter line, and this is where you get stuck right there. Goes on the inside of that cone, just like Daijiro Yoshihara. We'll see exactly how many wheels were technically off course from this shot in particular. As we get a look coming through the bridge here, LZ for a second was on a tighter line. He made a good adjustment here, but as he comes through the smoke, much too tight of a line, and he's on the right-hand side of that inside clip, technically being 3 or 4 tires off there. So that is a very similar mistake that we saw to Daijiro Yoshihara. Obviously, that had a huge impact on the overall result. So LZ's got to come back strong here, put down a solid lead run, and to just know that he's got one of the best chase drivers in the world behind him right now in Odie Bakchis.
Yeah, Odie just as he's won here before. He has history with this track. He wants it. He's hungry. He won the first round in Atlanta, so he's definitely got a fever for getting on the podium here. So LZ will lead. You can see Odie Bakchis popping his door open, get some fresh air. Like I said, Adam LZ bringing all his fans from the YouTube and all the videos he makes and all the content, bringing them to the Formula Drift family. Looks like picking up some shrapnel, and we are back to sending them. So Adam LZ will lead. And here we go, Adam LZ on Nitto tires. LZ S15. See how he comes into view of the judges with their naked eyes. Now coming in, massive angle from LZ. So just a bit shy, but look at Odie Bakchis applying the pressure. Ryan, you talked about how good Odie Bakchis was in the chase position, and he's absolutely proving you right. And LZ, oh, he loops it, parks it, and just being lost in the smoke there. Want to go to what I call the truth serum camera, that overhead view. Man, things got hairy there.
Well, Odie Bakchis was having a solid chase run, and because of this section of the course right here where LZ doesn't get out to the first outside zone, he's having a better lead as well. But what really kind of solidifies it is this final section here.
Oh, there was contact.
There was contact. Odie comes up, and that is going to be something the judges are really going to have to take a look at. Remember, that is a decel zone, right? So Odie, as he comes through the smoke line, and I feel like all of the run here is not really going to be as consequential. It's going to be coming down to what this means. Odie comes through the smoke line, surges forward. I think we really got to see it from the drone. That's going to give us the truth serum. LZ does a pretty good job. He went a little bit long on outside zone 2. As Odie comes through the smoke line here, he's surging forward, and now the start of the decel zone, if we can pull that map up, guys, when you get a chance, you'll be able to see that there. There should be an anticipation that once they start transitioning to the second touch and go, that's where the decel zone basically starts and then finishes at the inside clip where they should be back on throttle.
Adam's got some great angle here, coming, out of that second outside zone. Odie didn't have as much angle with his vehicle here.
Yeah, you have to say, was Adam doing anything that was
impeding?
Out of question, right?
Yeah.
Completely wrong. It's hard to see that he was, but look, see, the touch and go is right there at the corner, and the decel zone starts on the approach to it. So the collision happens in the decel zone. And I know that the judges are taking a look at this. Did Odie just get lost in the smoke and not really give Adam enough room and end up making contact there? It looks like Odie tried to save it, and his angle here. See, right here, once he transitions, it's coming from being in the smoke and then not in the smoke. And that can be super tricky to deal with.
Again, it is a decel zone, and we're really talking up Odie Bakchis and his chase, his chase prowess. But unfortunately, I have to think that Odie was just maybe too aggressive. That is clear and defined as a DCL area and to be expected. So maybe just got a little too slick there. All right, waiting for the...
It's going to come down to that because we have an incomplete scenario, right?
Yeah. Here we go. Odie Bakshies or Adam LZ. Slide him left for Odie Bakshies or right for Adam LZ. Odie Bakshies gets 1 and 2. So Odie gets the win. Ryan Lontaine gave me the eye and threw on his headset. So Ryan Lontaine, over to you, Lontaine.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I wasn't sure what you guys were saying. We were kind of talking amongst ourselves here, but essentially what we did is we incompleted LZ on his chase because he went 3 wheels off at inside clip 1. And then on Odie's chase, we incompleted him as well. But then that leads us with comparing the lead runs. And when you compare the lead runs, Odie's lead run was much cleaner. LZ on his lead, looks like he over-rotated after initiation and wasn't able to carry the momentum that he needed to carry through to the touch and go, which then slowed him down or set him back for the entirety of his run in the lead position. Now, that doesn't excuse Odie for jumping in on his door and making contact before inside clip 1. But again, we did incomplete Odie for that. But 2 incompletes in the chase allows us to compare the leads. And we, comparing the leads, Odie did a much cleaner job fulfilling the lead driver goals, getting the car out to the outside zones, the touch and goes throughout the entire run, while in LZ's lead, he made multiple mistakes, did not get out to any of the zones the way he should. And although he was not able to finish the run, Odie still did a much better job in the lead position. So he gets the win.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I see that. I was wondering whether or not there was going to be an incomplete for LZ for going 4 off. And so basically, if it's a math problem, both drivers have zeros, essentially, in their chase, right? But then Odie's lead is a 9.
It was a superior.
And Adam's lead is a 6.
Yep.
So that makes sense. And unfortunately, it's crazy when it happens like that, but we're moving on.
All right, we'll take a short break. When we come back, don't go anywhere. Just a few messages from our sponsors. We'll come back with the one more time of Yoshihara and Gushi.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. Energy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
With performance this raw, you need air that's pure. We started with a firm belief that innovation could improve performance. With the success of 50 years and millions of filters behind us, we continue to look ahead. Guaranteed to protect against dirt and proven to provide up to 50% more airflow. This is filtration for the future.
No. Seriously?
Come on.
No. You for real?
Dale.
Really?
Wow.
So maybe just a cable?
We can help you.
Welcome to America's #1 battery destination, AutoZone, your battery solution.
Link ECU produces standalone engine management technology with a range of products that allow you to unleash the power of your engine. Acting as your car's brain, Link ECUs control electronic fuel injection and ignition. A magnitude of sensor inputs and outputs ensure your engine exceeds your expectations. Built-in safety features guarantee engine protection, and data logs keep you informed on its performance. Smoke your tires, not your engine, with a world-leading Link ECU.
All right, during that halftime break, be sure to go over to the Fun Haver booth at 2 o'clock. The Fun Haver booth, Chelsea Denofa, Vaughn Gittin Jr. As there it is, Vaughn and Chelsea, autograph signing and pit party. Fun Haver Tour presented by Type S over at the Fun Haver Tour activation. You can't miss it. That's where Vaughn and Chelsea are pitted. And getting the street sweeper out here, cleaning up that outside first touch and go area. That's what Dylan Hughes was elaborating on if you're just tuning in. We are at round 7. This is the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach presented by Type S. Type S touring items, everything from lighting, car chargers and starters, as well as to portable powered Blizzard boxes. So check out Type S and their variety of products at AutoZone. There's Odie Bakshis' vehicle, getting that thing worked on, get it back up to snuff. Looks like it's high noon here on the streets of Long Beach. All right. As you can see, Odie Bakshis there, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ryan Sage, Jared Deanna, seeing our smiling faces, and it feels so right to be back here, Ryan, on the streets of Long Beach. You said this is one of your top tracks?
Yeah, this is home for us, man. So
yeah.
it feels good to be here, and you know, I just can't give enough thanks to everybody that's helped put this event together. It's just been so much gratitude towards everybody that's worked hard to make this part of the Grand Prix lead-up week. And, you know, we get to be back next weekend. We've got Super Drift. We've got 8 drivers doing events on Friday and Saturday. So this whole week leading up to the Grand Prix is just really special for us.
Thank you, yeah. Again, thank you to Long Beach Grand Prix Association, Jim and Dwight and the Tanaka family, all of them, and of course Cascadian. I mean, it's just awesome. And of course, you the fans for tuning in. Thank you so much. And it feels great to be back here, the streets of Long Beach. And speaking of being back, this is the one more time battle between these vets, Dai Yoshihara, Kenshiro Gushi. I mean, just do the math. Gushi's 34 now, and 18 years ago, we've seen him just grow up, develop from a young man to a full-on adult. And Dai Yoshihara as well. Dai Yoshihara, campaigning in S chassis back in the day, at S13, and just progressed through the years, different vehicles, different chassis. S chassis took him to a championship. He's been campaigning this BRZ for a minute. But we are back to the line with these two gentlemen. Dai Yoshihara qualifying 5th, Kenshiro Gushi getting in by the skin of his teeth, qualifying 28th, had to go to that bottom 8 and solidify a run, because he had an incomplete on his first run. We have the 2JZ built Toyota Supra of Kenshiro Gushi chasing down the turbocharged LS Subaru BRZ. And we are clear to send. You can see the gold nose of that Toyota Supra in the background. Speaking of Toyota, more Toyota racing, Osbo, Freddie will be going against Trent Beecham, local Southern California resident, in that Ford Mustang. Here we go, Dai Yoshihara out front. What do you got, boys? Don't leave it in the judge's hands. Speaking of chase runs, those gentlemen definitely need to step up. And look at that, there you go, Ken Gushi. Oh, and we got contact. Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, I was going to say Gushi is very, very tight in the pocket there, and it looks like it may have been too tight. He starts off very aggressively, not wanting to let Dai get away. We'll take another look at it here, but that was, from the onset, a very strong move there by Ken Gushi. But it may have not paid off for him here. We will have an incomplete on this first run from one of these two drivers. We'll take a look at where Dai got back on throttle. We know where the drivers are supposed to be doing that, but it will be an incomplete on this run for someone. Here it is here.
Yeah,
I think we got to go back a little bit and kind of see the lead up a little bit. I want to take a look at Dye's rear wheels and if he's back on the accelerator at the right time. Let's look at this a good view here. You can see Ken surging forward. And that gives us a good look at the contact there. I think from the camera 1 position is what we want to see. Here it is. Let's watch Dye's rear wheels. He should be getting back on throttle, right? But yeah, see, he's on throttle. And a bit earlier than we've seen. So I think he's going to be in the right here. It looks like Gucci
just getting too aggressive. And like we said, don't leave it in the judge's hands. And that's the risk in it for the biscuit. Unfortunately, he got served some biscuits. Ryan, I hear you talking to Pat. What's up? What's going on?
The judges were assessing fault there. They are giving Gucci the fault, but both cars are fine, so they're just going to go right to the next run.
All right, so unfortunate for Ken Gucci. He tried to get too aggressive there, picking up some shrapnel there on the course. Thank you to Cow Club, all the ladies and gentlemen dressed in white, corner workers here this weekend, as well as they'll be out here next weekend for the Long Beach Grand Prix. And Ryan, unfortunately, I won't be able to make next weekend, but who's stepping in for me? You're going to be out here, but we got our judges back out here. Who's talking smack?
I'm going to be you.
Yeah, okay.
And Ryan's going to be me.
Lontaine.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this role playing. You need to put on some weight. You need to grow a bigger beard. But I like the Ryan and Ryan swap. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So judges having a look at this, a third and fourth time, but the fault has been assessed. Both drivers sound like they are ready to go. We should be getting the second half of this underway. Yep, getting the thumbs up. Here we go.
Clear to send. We got Ken Gucci out front now with that deficit. He's going to need a mistake from Yoshihara in order to advance. All right. Who is going against Odi Bakshis in the top 16? Odi Bakshis waiting in the wings, and here we go. We got a clean start. Kenshiro Gucci out front. He's going to need to throw down a big run. He's going to need Dai Yoshihara to make a mistake. Gucci with a little quivering there right before that touch and go, and now filling all that first outside zone, approaching that second outside zone. Both of them right there. Dai Yoshihara keeping pace with them around that final inside clip. And unfortunately for Ken Gucci, it was over before it began on that first battle.
Very veteran move there. This is just like Justin Pollock. He knows he has an advantage here. Keeps the pressure on, but not making too much of a big move here against Ken Gucci. You can see keeping nice proximity, doing a great job trying to move forward here on this last inside clip. Gets through it. So heroic effort there for Ken Gucci. You have to applaud the aggressiveness, but in this case just does not pay off. And it looks like Daijiro Yoshihara is going to be moving on into the top 16.
And here we go, slide him left for Dai Yoshihara. So DAI versus ODI in the top 16. That's Dai Yoshihara versus Odi Bakshis in the top 16. Unfortunately for Ken Gucci, he is knocked out. All right. Frederick Osbo, Trenton Beecham, here we go. So Freddie, yesterday going hard into the wall. Looks like he cleaned up his act from yesterday to today. Going against Trenton Beecham, who's had some success. Trenton Beecham has had some success here with the Long Beach Grand Prix during the Motegi Drift Challenge. As Freddie waits on the start line. Strap back together, looking strong. So Frederick will lead after qualifying second, putting down a 97. Only bettered by Justin Pollock. Just outscored. They both tied for style, but then came down to angle. And Justin Pollock got him by 1 point. And We should be clear to send momentarily, making sure there's no debris on track. And we are getting ready to send. Matt Sopa on Europa, leaving the start light. And here we go. Let's see if we get a good start. Yes, we do. The Gold Nose Rockstar, Toyota Racing, Toyota Supra. Now coming on in. There goes Frederick Osmo. Massive angle there. Just barely kissing that touch and go. Filling all that first outside zone. Getting into zone 1. Now 2. Trent Beecham now gets the side of him. And now around that final front clip. A great effort there by Beecham. But just, you saw how deep Frederick got into the touch and go and just barely smooched the wall, but doing a great job out front.
So Frederick Osbo hunting for that second championship. He's got to get through Trenton Beecham here. Osbo known as a great lead driver, getting out to that touch and go. Beecham on that tighter line. Now he's starting to scoot back, but Osbo, excellent job out front. Good transition back around Beecham. Not too shabby, keeping the pressure on through that final inside clip. Coming into view here, Osbo just absolutely perfect on the touch and go. And then that smooth transition back around. 6-inch gap to outside zone 1 and 2. Here's the second one. Couple little steering inputs. He's actually about maybe 1.5 feet off there, but still really deep into that zone. And Beecham not letting him run away, so you got to give him props here as he does keep that pressure on Osbo. Switching things up now, Jared, as Trenton Beecham will go to the lead.
Yeah, that Clonex Ford Mustang. Let's see if Beecham can put it together against this former champ who's in the hunt. Talking about, the championship. Can he get a second ever championship here this year? Got the victory just last round of competition in St. Louis. So Trent Beecham is really going to need to throw down, but he's got this champ in his rearview mirror. Beecham initiates. Let's see if he can get out of that touch and go. Ooh, a big correction there. You can see he grips up, comes up very shallow. Lack of angle there for Beecham. But Frederick Osmo does a great job adapting to Trent Beecham, making those mistakes. But Osmo showing you the composure of the champion, why he's currently sitting in third, Ryan.
Yeah, I want to underline something that you said there. The adaptation from Osbo was really strong. He could have put himself in a really tough position where he had to stop drifting or make a mistake because he was having to make those adjustments. But he made those adjustments so well that it's going to give him a really good fighting chance here to move on. You can see Beecham comes back strong on outside zone 2, but was struggling with the first half of the course. As we get into this final inside clip, he looks pretty good there, but Frederick Osbo looks like it's just too tough of a match here for Trenton Beecham.
All right, and here we go. Slide him left for Freddie, right for Trenton, and there it is. Frederick Osbo gets the win and advances on to the top 16. Frederick Osbo piloting that Rockstar energy drink, Toyota GR Supra. Freddie gets the win and advances on. Oh man, just taking a look. This second half of this 32 has all our contenders in the championship. It has your Matt Field, it has your Chelsea Denofa, it has Ryan Turk in just a few battles, and of course Frederick Osbo. So this should all equate to an interesting remaining battles here. All the way down to the final, our defending champion Vaughn Gittin Jr. Here we go. Look at these two boys from Southern California. Jeff Jones, Ryan Literal, two fun-having gentlemen. Notably Jeff Jones, always choreographing his top 16 dances, having some fun. 818, Edelbrock, Nissan 370Z, off in the wings. The power stop brakes, oh boy. I'm seeing that power stop brakes. GT radial, Nissan Silvia S15, looks like. Saw somebody frantically run over his car, but looks like he is okay. Looks like he's good. He's in that Pedal Commander burnout box. RB is life. That's that RB powered Nissan Silvia S15. Pulling up to the line. Strap it and wrap it. Get those cameras affixed. This should be a fun battle. Got to tell you, Ryan Literal's qualifying run, a solid one. So both these guys qualifying. Jeff Jones 15, 18 for Ryan Literal, so middle of the pack there. And here we go. Lights are, you can see them going on once they extinguish. That's go time. See if we can get a clean start here from Jeff Jones. Yes, we do. Oh, but no big deal. The chase car can't hit a cone, FYI. Here we go, Jeff Jones initiates. Ryan Literal in that chase position. Now coming out to that outside, touch and go. Let's see how they handle the transition. Nice job into that first outside zone, into the second. Now coming to that final inside clip, Jeff Jones wraps it around Ryan Literal right there. Both of them kind of punching out of the way. So, Ryan, maybe talk a little bit about, you know, that only cone on the track is that inside clip, but you see those guys punch it out of the way, but we saw other guys go a little bit deeper. Maybe elaborate on that as we take a look at it again.
Yeah, Jeff Jones in the lead here against Ryan Literal. A good battle underway. Jones trying to reach out to that touch and go. Nice snap back around. You can see a little bit of movement in the vehicles by both guys. And this inside clip is causing some problems here. You can see Literal taps it, but it's on the right-hand side of the bumper, so it wasn't as extreme. We saw LZ go 3 tires off and an incomplete. We also saw that with a couple of their drivers before. So getting that setup to the touch and go number 2 and drawing the right line there is extremely important. You can see Literal with some movement of his own in the chase, trying to get in the pocket here. And when you get a little bit tight, you will hit that. That wasn't too extreme. So switching things up now, Ryan Literal going to the lead as Jeff Jones will chase him down.
Let's see what Literal does with the clean air. He is going to have this lead, as you just said, Ryan. Jeff Jones hunting him down. It's great to see Literal. He's had just kind of a up and down year, but he's been having a lot of fun along the way. Creating some great dialogue of just different power plant battles, RB, 2J. Just the evolution of everybody's vehicles and these builds. Here we go, Ryan Literal out front, that power stop brakes, GT radial. Sylvia SMC, Rock power, whoa, Literal! Smashes that back bumper, transitions. Oh, he's big correction there, unfortunately. But Jeff Jones stays in it. We talked about adaptation, and Jeff Jones kept his composure. That might have paid off where he gave himself a little bit of room. But Literal came out guns a-blazing, bumper slamming into that touch and go, Ryan.
Really digging this battle between these two guys. Great way to start off the top 32 here. Nice little flick there by Literal. Judges like to see no more than 2 moves, and that is so crazy that it didn't affect the car more, but he did get in the wall super deep, and you can see where it put the car was not in the right position, and he had that mistake coming back around. Jeff Jones, as you said, did a great job adapting in the chase, not allowing himself to get caught up, not getting overly aggressive to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and now we quickly go to the judges' result.
Yeah, that was real quick, and I think that speaks volumes of Jeff Jones getting the win. Unfortunately for Ryan Literal, just it seemed that the wall didn't want to let go of Literal's car. He just hit that touch and go and said, nope, you're not going anywhere, and then it just straightened him out. But I think Literal just really wanted to prove to himself and prove to the fans that he's out here, he's going for it, risk it all. It was lit, but unfortunately, the flame got put out by Jeff Jones. Throwing down to Lorette Nickel, who you got?
Thank you so much. Dai Yoshihara, you finished your battle with Ken Gushi, and I saw you two talking. What was the conversation?
Well, obviously it wasn't the way that I wanted to win. You know, got it one more time, and then I got hit. And I couldn't keep going. I stalled. I guess his tire was hitting my rear tire, and then I stalled, and I couldn't just keep moving. Because I could have still go, then it could have been a good battle. I couldn't just keep going, and I just wanted to apologize to him because it's not the way I wanted to win. So, but win's win, right? So going to the top 16 and keep it go all the way. That's the plan.
Dai, best of luck, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that insight there, Lorette, and wrapping out. This is how our bracket is shaping up, but you could see Justin Pollock versus Forsberg, Dylan Hughes versus Castro, Essa versus Mohan, Dai Yoshihara and Odi Bakshis, Osbo versus Jeff Jones. But I think what you're getting into with Dai Yoshihara there is, like you said, that's just gentlemen. They're two great friends off track, and I liked what Dai said there. That's not the way I wanted to win. I would have liked to go because sometimes, it's like any traditional, like soccer, people flop. You know, some people have been accused of doing that, and I think Dye just wanted to continue on, but he just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think these guys have been doing this for literally 20 years. They've probably done thousands of battles, and many times against each other. And so they know each other's driving style, they know their tendencies and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, they want to go out there and give the best possible effort that they can. And so, you know, Dye's just bummed that he wasn't able to get that.
All right, here we go. Ryan Turk versus Dean Carney, Derry, New Hampshire's own. That gum-out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. Shannon Turk watching at home, cheering him on. His dog Bowie. How's it going, Bowie? And then now we got the Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper. This is Dean Carnage Carney. All right, and here we go. Looks like we're going to get a start here from these two gentlemen. Again, Ryan Turk currently sitting in 4th in points. Comes out swinging literally. Now coming into that first right-hand 90 turn. Out to the touch and go. There goes Ryan Turk tapping that bumper. You can see barely a bumper there. Dean Carney taking a very shallow line, trying to get aggressive. Past that second touch and go into that front clip. And there goes Ryan Turk and Dean Carney. Want to get that overhead view of that final front clip, which is wreaking a lot of havoc. But Ryan, we talk about going bumper deep. Turk's bumper is very, very shallow. It's just right there next to the wheel.
That's about as precise as you can get. And you can see how fluid it is as well. He does a great job on that touch and go. Dean is not going to let him run away, though. That car is so fast. But look, he takes that tighter line, and that will close the gap faster, but that's not what the judges want to see. Turk, on the other hand, out front, solid lead run all the way around. Dean just having that mistake from outside zone 1, approaching outside zone 2. He was able to correct it, but look at, I mean, that is just, that's a beautiful thing right there. It does not mess up the attitude of the vehicle at all. And this is where we see Dean having that tighter line to outside zone 2. He does quickly address it and kind of get back in the fight there. That'll be an area where Ryan Turk's team can potentially take advantage in their chase run.
And to be quite honest, Turk's lead run wasn't picture perfect. He could have been deeper on the first outside zone. As beautimous as that touch and go wall tap was, he actually technically wasn't deep in that first outside zone, nor the second. Didn't get in the zone, auto zone, but Dean was very shallow, taking that very tight line. So as Dean slowly makes his way to the start line, he's going to really need to step out and fill those outside zones and hit that final inside clip. Dean Carnage Carney will lead. He's giving a wave here. Something's going on. Dean Carney, I know he threw a power steering belt yesterday in his first qualifying run. He had to take a second run. He really threw down. That's why he qualified fairly low, qualifying 26th compared to Ryan Turk's 7th. Some words with the spotter here, seeing what's going on. All right, BC Racing, the official, oh, we're talking about Run BC. Save 10%, runbc.com. Let's go racing. Again, BC Brian Crowder products. Want more power, need better reliability? Hit up BC for the good stuff. Cams, cranks, rods, stroker kits. Brian Crowder has your high performance needs covered, and for a limited time, get 10% off at runbc.com using promo code Let's Go Racing. Save 10%. Runbc.com. What's up, Doc? Just making it clear. Dean Carnage Carney. What's and I believe we are finding out it's going to be a competition timeout. Yeah, we are finding out that unfortunately Dean Carnage Carney has to call a competition timeout, an NGK competition timeout. Do spark plugs timeout? They sure do. And timely spark plug replacement not only prevents fouling and provides the best engine performance, it ensures less repair time and can save you money on unnecessary repairs. Visit ngksparkplugs.com to learn more about OE suggested spark plug intervals and find the best plug for your engines. NGK, the ignition specialist. So we'll take a short break. When we come back, seriously, don't go anywhere. Watch these commercials. When we come back, we'll continue on with the competition as Dean Carnage Carney calls the competition timeout after the first portion of that battle.
Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
At Holley, we're gearheads too, so we decided to create a one-stop shop for all things automotive, a place we call Motor Life. Motor Life is Holley's new completely free digital magazine that houses the how-to stories, car features, news, and videos that car folks love. To check it out, head on over to motorlife.com and don't forget to subscribe to our Motor Life newsletter so you won't miss any of this great car-centric content.
My name came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
All right, welcome back here as Dean Carnage Carnaby can see over there with this NGK competition timeout. All right. Hey, Lorette Nickel, what's up?
Hey, thank you so much. Kevin Wells, if you don't mind telling us what's happening with Dean Carney.
They actually just rebuilt his differential to swap it from a limited slip to a spool right before this run. So they put it in, and he went out to check it, and I guess it's making noise. So they're just trying to nut and bolt it real quick to make sure it doesn't fall apart before he goes on track.
Okay. Kevin, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Lorette. Thank you, Kevin Wells. And are we, I assume we're just going to wait, or? Yeah. All right. It looks like we're going to throw our next pair in the Pedal Commander burnout box. So competition timeout, Ryan. You get one in the entirety of the weekend. That does include qualifying and today, but elaborate more, if you will.
5-minute allocation, one time to be able to adjust, fix your vehicle without there being any previous contact. If there was contact or collision, we can allocate additional time to the drivers that were not at fault for that. But it looks like, I feel like the team seems pretty relaxed here, so I don't think this is going to be a big fix. But, you know, we kind of saw something like this in St. Louis where we thought the same thing, and then it got 3-2-1 and the car wasn't back together.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? Notably, I'll tell you, Dean has had just peaks and valleys throughout the season, but he's still in the top 10, which I think is tremendous and a testimony to his hard work and team, and just, you know, being persistent, just being passionate, going for it.
Yeah, and the one I was referring to is not Dean last round.
No.
I think it was Vaughn.
It was Vaughn. Yeah. Well, no, remember, they'd start jacking up, and then they had to drop the whole rear end.
Yeah.
They dropped the rear end. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, there are certain teams that I could see turn it over really quick, like they're built for this. You know, more veteran teams, more equity, kind of know what to expect. So they have that bottom end and could do it, like they almost practice it, kind of like high-end NASCAR teams. If anybody's going to do it, there are certain teams, and Vaughn is one of those, and the RTR team, I should say. They work hard. And Papadakis, too. I mean, it seems like they could change an engine in that Corolla hatchback in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's about 3.5-minute engine change.
But who's keeping count? Ryan, what did you have for dinner last night, buddy?
You know what? I ended up just continuing to eat that beef jerky.
I will tell you, Ryan always comes up with these wild snacks. Not so much this year. He's been kind of going lower tier vibes, but traditionally you go to these like super dope like markets, and he just has a bag of snacks. And this one was just all protein. And you had a particular one. This is by no means am I getting paid for this, but it was a Stone Brewing hazy tangerine IPA beef jerky, which that speaks to me in so many ways.
Very exotic.
That's very exotic. Look at this view here. It's going to be bananas here next weekend. The Long Beach Grand Prix slides here into this waterfront streets, and we are moving on to our next battle. Taylor Hull. Taylor Hull going against that of Masuyama. So we'll go back to the second half, but right now it's all Taylor Hull, that comp cams, Cadillac ATS-V. Let's send it. Here we go, coming into view of our judges. Taylor Hull getting out there, tapping that bumper on the wall, losing a taillight, snappy transition. Masuyama right there. And that Buy Now Japan S15 Sylvia. Looks like Taylor full pull, Hull comes around and wraps it very nicely, puts a bow on it. Masuyama, that was a great run by Taylor Hull, and Masuyama really had his number on the first portion of that battle, but Taylor Hull, he just really showed up, man. That was awesome.
Well, this is definitely a clash of cultures here, isn't it? As we see Taylor Hull going out and Masuyama trying to stay with him, tapping that wall, attitude not adjusting too much. Big angle through outside zone number 1. Here comes Masuyama trying not to get lost in the smoke, but he falls back a little bit here as Taylor Hull wraps through that final inside clip, and you see that little bump there by Masuyama. Here it is from above, Jared, as we take a look at the initiation. Surging forward there is Masuyama trying to get that timing right, get in the pocket. And you can see Taylor Hull tapping that wall. Big angle through outside zone number 1. Reaching out pretty deep to outside zone 2 with Masuyama trying to close the door here. So good start to the battle between Wataru Masuyama and Taylor Hull.
I liked exactly what you said there, Ryan. The clash of cultures. You know, you got the All-American boy from Georgia in that Comp Cams Cadillac ATS-V. You got Masuyama, the right-hand drive, Buy Now Japan Sylvia S15. Absolutely just different parts of the globe coming together here on the streets of Long Beach. You gotta love it. Let's see the second half of this battle. The winner of this battle going against either Ryan Turk or Dean Carnage Carney. Let's see the second half of this battle. Looks like we had some, when Taylor went into that wall, knocked off that taillight lens. And it looks like cleanup on aisle 1, or in this case turn 9, 10, 11 of this Indy course. No problem for him. And here we go. Clear to send. Masuyama, Buy Now Japan. S15 will lead. Taylor Hull chasing him down. I have a feeling Taylor Hull's really going to push. And Masuyama with that flick right in front of Hull. Now coming through. Oh, boy! Masuyama hangs on to that touch and go a little long. Got very precarious there, Ryan, for Taylor Hull. I thought he was going to go into that tire wall. Transitioning now, coming around that final inside clip. What are your thoughts, man?
We're seeing a lot of drivers mistime that touch and go, and it has an impact on the entire run. Taylor Hull also got into the second touch and go, and he's sans bumper right now. So, wow, this is a really interesting battle here. Let's see what happens from the onset. You see Masuyama. Yeah, we're getting some interference with the drone there, but Masuyama went into that first touch and go area, and it did adjust the attitude of the car. And then right there, Taylor Hull gets into the second touch and go. So we'll have to go back and see this from the line cut, but here it is again. Hull kind of slow rolls into it. He goes a little bit deeper, kind of loses ground, but luckily for him, Masuyama taps the wall. He's not able to get out to that first outside zone. And then right here on this last section, Hull taps that area. That doesn't affect or adjust too much, but you can see that Masuyama's on a tighter line through that inside clip. Hull was following him on that line, so he was thinking about doing the right thing as the chase driver, and Masuyama will definitely get dinged for getting a little bit too inside on that final clip.
So Taylor Hull waiting for the verdict. That bumper has taken an abuse. Here we go with the BC Racing side-by-side graphics. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Go for gold. Check out BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Let's take a look at it here, Ryan. So Hull leading on the left and Masuyama leading on the right.
Yeah, we know it's close when the judges call for the side-by-side. And in this case, I think it's going to be about the weighting of mistakes. There were some great moments by both drivers, but there were some mistakes that were enough to potentially create a point of difference for one driver over the other. And the judges want to determine whether or not that can be justified.
And here we go. Just so again, the judges really scrutinizing this battle here, and this is a case of, you know, leaving the judges' hands. The NOS Energy Drink top 32, and it looks like a one more time from Chris Yule. Ryan Lantain says one more time, so they are going at it again, and that was unanimous. It is unanimous. So a one more time for Hull and Masayama. Wataru Masayama. And Lantain, going to you. Your thoughts here on the one more time?
It's just like you said, Jared, there are just too many mistakes. There wasn't anything that really stood out in terms of achieving the lead or chase driver responsibilities to a level that would give one driver the win over the other. So we'd like to see them go again and see if somebody can put together a really clean lead and clean chase and be truly dominant in both positions here so that we have a winner.
Yeah, the lead just really dictated where that chase car was going. Yeah. Kind of not the prettiest on the touch and go, throwing them off the first inside zone or outside zone, and then second. And I mean, it's crazy how much that front clip is showing up and making itself present this event.
Yeah, you're right. And in previous years, I don't know if it has been this much of a factor, let's say, in the battles, but we're having some issues with drivers just driving over it and hitting it with pretty significant parts of their cars. So, you know, we're usually okay with the corner of the bumper tapping it. It's not a big deal, but you know, if you're getting 1, 2, 3 tires over on the inside of it, then it's definitely a problem.
And that's what, you know, even Sage is saying throughout yesterday and today is the defining of the course with, you know, minimal cones. Well, the only one cone is still causing havoc. So let's just put walls everywhere. That'll just really make your job and your fellow judges' jobs easier.
Yeah, the drivers not so much though.
No, for sure. And the cars. Well, not the drivers, but the technicians and the mechanics.
Yeah, the people fixing them for sure.
All right, so here we go with the second half of this battle. This is Dean Carnage Carney and Ryan Turk. Remember, Ryan had a very dominant lead run here. Dean took a shallower line. But like I said, Turks was not exactly textbook. He still gave some opportunity there for Dean. Now here we go, Dean Carnage Carney leading. Gets all the way out to that touch and go. Ryan Turk does not. Now filling that first inside, outside zone. Oh! Dean Carney, massive hit. And that's going to really hurt Dean Carney in more ways than one.
Up until that point, I was in my mind, I was thinking, oh, he's coming back.
Yeah.
Because he nailed the touch and go.
He did, and Turk did not.
And it was a beautiful transition to outside zone 1, but he started moving deeper and deeper and deeper. And as he approached outside zone 2, he compressed that back bumper, got the right rear into the wall in a significant way, and you could see that it was broken immediately once it hit that wall. And as we saw yesterday, there are no standalone K-rails out here, and so these walls really do not move. I mean, maybe a couple inches if they're hit hard, but
they're all pinned.
Because
next weekend we got Indy cars, you know, which are going considerably faster. So nice touch there, Ryan. But here,
yeah, as he goes to 1, he's going to be on. He was on a tighter line there. He didn't get all the way out, and he kept pushing. When we get this on from camera 3, we'll really see that first shot. Now, right here, there's a worry because that part right there, that's where a lot of the tire starts to accumulate. And even though we've only had a few battles here relative to, say, 50 practice runs, you're still going to get some particulate out there. He did push a little bit too deep, got into a really crazy part of the course, and it's going to be the end of the road here for Dean Carney after what looked like a great start to his lead run. I mean, just beautifully executed on that touch and go, but the wall claims another victim.
Look at that. Driving off even. I don't need no stinking tow truck, says Dean Carnage Carney, but unfortunately he ran so deep, he put that Viper to sleep as Ryan Turk will get the win. Ryan Turk will advance on. And the Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper of Dean Carnage Carney lives up to his name. Carnage ensues on that second outside zone. Ryan Turk of the Gum Out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback on Nitto tires advances on as that Viper limps back to the pit area. Little cleanup here. Hey, for those fans here in the building and for those that are going to be at Irwindale, look at this. Join us for our halftime Team Falcon autograph session. Odie Bakshis, Justin Pollock, Dai Yoshihara, and Matt Field. The signature teal and blue drivers over there at the Falcon Tire booth. Gosh, such a beautiful day. I'm loving this. These are the events, to be quite honest, if I'm being completely honest, which I'm always honest, but these are the events where I just want to grab a beer and sit in the stands and watch and yell like a fan, as opposed to being up here an announcer, right, Ryan? Because people always say, like, you know,
bye.
Yeah, how dope would that be if I just that'd be a dope if I just wanted to quit. I was
Mic
like
drop.
I was over. I'm like, hey Ryan, guess what? Bye, I'm out, and just like start cranking beers.
That would be bad.
That'd be bad. Yeah, that would be pretty epic though as well. All right, that's how our top 16 is shaping up. You can see we got just a few more battles left. That one more time. When we come back, we'll continue here at the Streets of Long Beach, the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S.
Made in Japan. Breed.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. NOS, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive? All right, welcome back here. Round 7 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. How are we doing out there, Long Beach fans here in the building? Make some noise! Let me hear you stomp your feet real quick if you're here in the bleachers. I want to see how loud you guys could get. Stomp your feet, if you will. See if we could hear you. Okay, it wasn't a 4.4 like in Carson. These are stoutly built bleachers, man. It's nice and stout, man. That was solid. Some good fans here in the building. Beautiful weather here. Taking a look, just so you know, taking a look at the old weather device here. It's about, what, 70, 78 degrees? Is that what we're guessing here, Ryan?
It does not get much better than this.
This is absolutely ideal. Can we just move Long Beach to later in the year?
Let's just do all 8 rounds here.
There are times when, I mean, we've been here and it's been really hot in April, and we've been here when it's really cold and rainy and windy. So this is This is a, oh man, what's going on here? Dean, Carnage, Carney packing it up. Their hot, excuse me, their hot pit area here. Because you have the whole activation, you know, and your whole display in the pit area, but down on pit row, this is where they have a hot pit area. They can quickly get to the vehicle. So we are going back to the Taylor Hole Masayama battle. This is a one more time battle, or we see Denofa and Eve Meyer. All right, looks like, you know what? No, we're not going back to one more time. We are seeing Denofa and Eve Meyer. Chelsea Denofa, currently second in points after 3 victories this year. So it just goes to show you, you know, consistency. And Ryan, we talk about Matt Field getting that 1 win, but he leads the championship currently, and that's a testimonial to being consistent, right? Chelsea has those 3 wins, but Matt's always kind of been in the top. That is similar to that of Chris Forsberg getting his 3rd victory. Never had a win, but had multiple 2nd and 3rds.
His 3rd championship you're talking about, yeah. Yep. Yeah, the consistency from Field has been phenomenal, and Denofa, obviously with the wins this year, has really started to rack him up. He's found himself in a battle for the title. Let's just be frank about it. Those 3 guys right now have the best shot, and they're all within 20 points of each other. At most 20 points, 19 points for Osbo. But Ryan Turk and Odi Bakchis are still in the mix, and so this is looking like a great build-up to the championship leading into Irwindale.
I love it. I love it when it comes down to Irwindale, and if we can recall, speaking of Frederick Osbo and Vaughn Gittin Jr.,
oh my
that
gosh.
just culminating. That was so sick.
That would
hey,
have
Mickey in the building.
That would have interrupted the James Dean three-peat for sure.
What's that?
That would have interrupted the James Dean three-peat. That was Osbo's championship in the final battle.
You're right. You're right. All right, here we go. Speaking of RTR, Chelsea Denofa, Eve Meyer coming to us from Switzerland. And here we go. Chelsea Denofa initiating the BC Racing Hill Tire, 4th Mustang RTR. Spec 5, yo, bumper budget. Woo, Eve Meyer, look at that, he goes deep. Chelsea Denofa, 2nd, but right now leading the charge. Ooh, taking out that cone. Again, that cone just coming into play once again. Mickey and the Throttle Boys in the building. What's up, Mick?
Denofa, interestingly here, kind of got away with one a little bit. Watch this. He's going to hit that touch and go, and right here he e-brakes real quick, and that allows a surging forward there to Meyer. Outside of that, the lead run is pretty good. He does tap that inside clip, but the judges warned all the drivers, you should not be e-braking from outside zone 1 to outside zone 2. And it was pretty clear that Denofa did that. He may have got another gear, but it definitely the rear wheels stopped. Here it is. Watch right here, right after outside zone 1. See that? You see that compression. Now, Eve was not in proximity, so it didn't really have a major impact. But that's just something that they got to be weary of as if he makes it through this battle. When you have a guy that's door to door there and that happens, that's really easy for the judges to see. But so far, doing a great job. You can see the decel areas there, just right at initiation and that inside clip. Everywhere else, they expect you to keep that forward momentum smooth and consistent.
And interestingly enough, for how the car reacts when you yank on the handbrake, that causes the car to actually slide out towards the back end. So what that allowed Chelsea to do is really navigate the back end of that vehicle to get tighter to that 2nd outside zone. So just having that kind of, you know, muscle memory going from outside zone 1, setting himself up for outside zone 2. But when you yank on it too long, that's not, like you said, repeating what you're saying, but just that fluidity. Stay on throttle as opposed to parking it. All right, here we go as Eve Meyer will lead. Chelsea Denofa giving chase. And the lights are illuminating. Let's see what we got. Eve Meyer gets the clean air with that Drift Force BMW operated by the Drift Cave. Eve Meyer, a newcomer to the Formula Drift Championship. Let's see what we got. Looks like he's giving himself a little bit of room there, Chelsea Denofa. Doesn't get all the way out to that first outside zone. A little shallow there, allowing Chelsea to have that proximity. Bring it on into the touch and go and wraps it around that front clip. Chelsea showing you why he is currently a contender and a hunt for the championship. He can taste it. He can smell it. Sensory overload.
It's all about putting together that complete package of a solid lead and chase. And even with a couple little minor mistakes that Denofa made, he still keeps the pressure on here. And we can see out front with Yves, he's not fulfilling the lead driver's obligations. He has a little bit of low angle, doesn't fully get out to outside zone 2, but Denofa is following him like a moving clipping point, and he makes a nice adjustment here to keep good angle around that inside clip, keep the pressure on, and try to advance in this competition. Here it is from above, Jared. Now, Yves actually starts off pretty decently here on the touch and go. Remember, Denofa did it just about perfect, but Yves gets out there pretty deep as well. Not so shabby on outside zone 1, but Denofa is just keeping him super close. You know, he's not door to door, but he's doing enough to probably get an advancement here.
Yeah, you know, this is just showing some what Justin Pollock and other Mustang drivers talking about, just, you know, having some equity, being familiar with the track, and that's what Chelsea really did. Again, love Yves Meyer, love to see just his progression. I believe his first ever drift event he watched was here on the streets of Long Beach. He says, I want to do that. Well, here he is going against one of the best of the biz. Chelsea Denofa gets the win. He will advance on. He's going against either Jonathan Hurst or a newcomer, Brandon Sorensen, his first time ever here. And Jonathan Hurst, I believe, is it his first as well? I'm not sure. That's I'd love to get the perspective of all the drivers. Just not enough time in the day just to see and wrap out with all the drivers. But we can see the gold nose there of that BC Racing Nitto tire for Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D, pulling it on in there to that hot pit area. Oh man, just such a great sight. All right, we are going back to the OMT one more time between Taylor Hull and his comp cams Cadillac ATS-V and Wataru Masayama in the by now Japan Sylvia S15. I liked what you said, Ryan, about the culture clash. Full Americana, full JDM, man. It's definitely really cool. All right. There we can see there's the fans streaming in. A lot of the fans kind of saying, all right, you know, during 32, kind of kick it around the paddock and, you know, stop by the AEM booth, maybe get a haircut from Suavecito, go by, I'm seeing K&N, seeing Gretty in the building, Kenji, got Willwood, got the Accelerate, got the slime, oh, look at that, he's got slime in his hair. All right. Hey, Lorette, some more words with Chelsea?
Yeah, some more words with Chelsea. That battle against Yves Meyer, man, how's the track holding up?
Track's good. It's getting a little hot, so it's a little looser, and I had a little power hang up where we were sitting at rev limiter while I was off throttle, so I had some things to work through, but we made it work and got through. I mean, I'm pretty pumped on it. Wasn't my best driving, but, I mean, considering what was going on, I feel happy with it.
How do you clean that up moving forward?
We're just going to work on the car, make sure everything's good there, and then moving forward, just keeping the focus on where you want to be and using the tires to get there.
Chelsea, thanks. Jared, Ryan?
Thank you so much, Lorette. I want to know who gave you that bracelet as well. You've been rocking that there for a little bit, and definitely next interview I want to know the story behind it as we take a look at Chelsea Denofa and Yves Meyer around that final inside clip. So that's always great, you know, Chelsea and the drivers, you know, particular drivers acknowledging that, I know I got more in the tank, and that's how you slowly progress and just tune it up, get it more dialed. More seat time as the event progresses. And we'll get you home by dinner time here. We'll have our podium ceremony and get you home by dinner. All right, this one more time battle. Hull and Masayama. That's right. So Lorette let me know. Shout out to Essa's daughter and Brutsky's kids made it for Lorette. Here we go. Taylor Hull, comp cams, kind of like ATS-V initiating Masayama right there. Oh, Taylor Hull getting into the tires. Ryan, I want to take a look. Was there contact out of the gate between Masayama and Hull as he went? Such a bummer. Oh, man. Oof.
We knew it wasn't long until something like that happened, right? We always get
such a shame.
One into that section of the course, and this is why this course can be so challenging. I'm watching on a delay over here,
And I didn't see contact prior to that. Let's take a look. Here we go. Masuyama surging forward. And right there, actually, there may have been a slight bump there. And I have to imagine that what the judges are going to look at next, they're going to look at the setup after initiation, probably camera one, when Hull gets back on throttle there, and where the bump may have taken place. So he's starting to get back on throttle.
It looked like he had a little bit more angle than Hull, and it looked like he butt bumped him. Yeah, pretty much, and that threw him in the tire. So ready, right
there.
Doink, and that throws him offline, and it pushes him more towards the tires, and that back end rotates.
Well, you can see it looks like Taylor, as soon as he had that bump, was off throttle as well. So he was making adjustments to the contact.
And the frustrating thing here now, this is the first portion of this one more time battle. So scenario-wise, I'm seeing Lantain throw on his headset, so definitely want to get him in here. Ryan, what's up?
Where Taylor Hull initiated, what his initiation was like, and where was Masuyama positioned at that time. So if you look at Hull right here, his initiation is pretty late, either late or right at the cusp, and it was a lazy initiation too. It was kind of a slow roll to angle.
Into it.
And Masuyama's there expecting him to get on throttle and be moving in a way that makes Masuyama have to get on throttle very early himself, because in this area, if the chase driver doesn't get on throttle early, you can see that Hull there initiates quite a bit later than he should be. If the chase driver's not getting on throttle, as the lead driver gets on throttle, the chase driver will be left behind, and that's why we have the decel map, the momentum map, sorry, and we have these situations set up so that the chase driver is protected. They need to be close early on, and they have to be aware that that lead driver will be slowing down outside of that momentum area, the decel area. So just having a look at our flow chart that we have for collisions, and we want to make sure that we follow that properly. So I will let you guys continue to talk.
Yeah, appreciate that. So taking a look at that you take all things considered, like Ryan said, point of no return, initiating at this point, slow roller initiation as opposed to maybe aggressive, as you would call it, rate to angle, or as we've described over the years, rate to angle. Masuyama, his expectations, what Taylor Hull has been traditionally doing consistently through the event, what Masuyama's been doing. They just had a battle, went to one more time, and notably, they did actually have contact on that first portion, the first battle. They did have contact as well. I'm overhearing the spotters over here and elaborate. So, yeah, there you are. How we doing? Round 7, Long Beach. You're there on the big screen. Hey, let's get a wave going here. Let's start it. Where are we starting the wave at? Let's start it. Where are we starting? Let's just start it closest to the bridge. Can you guys hear me? Over there, what section is that? 16. Put your hands up, 16. That's right. Okay, you're section 16. So you're going to start the wave. You're going to come towards the judging stand, and we're going to go all the way around. We're going to go to the waterfront, okay? So start in 16. It's going to go in front of the judges stand on 3. You ready to send it? Section 16, closest to the bridge. Send it. Go. There we go. Round 7 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. It's coming to you over there across the water. There you go. Keep it going. Section 24. It's coming. Okay, across the bridge. There. Okay, it's gaining momentum. Coming back to you, 16, send it again. There we go. Okay, let's see if they paid attention over there. 23 and 24, coming your way. There it is. Section. Okay, there we go. Look at this. Somebody had their NOS energy drink this morning. Oh, look at, keep it going, 16. When we come back, the waves are going to be on track, not here in the stands, not out in the ocean, but here on track. Let's see how it unfolds when we come back here. The AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S. Thank you so much, Long Beach, for joining us. We'll be right back.
Made in Japan. Breed.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hull, driver of the Comp Cam's Next Entire Cadillac ATS-V. I've been drifting in Formula Drift since 2015 and driving overall since right about 2003. My expectations for 2021 are to improve on the results from 2020. So we had 4 top 8 finishes in 2020 and finished 10th overall in the point standings. I think success to me in 2021 looks like doing better than that. So we want to be up on podiums. We want to, be in the running for a top 5 championship finish. So just continuing to progress. We've done that every year. I don't want to take a step back. We want to keep moving forward. So as far as rivals go, everybody's your rival, right? It varies from round to round. It's whoever's across the cones from you at the start is your rival. We can all be friends here in the grid. It's a really great pit area. The camaraderie among the FD drivers is unlike most other series, but your rival is whoever you're up against at any given time. So I love everybody, but it's time to put them on the trailer when we go up to battle. My favorite thing about Formula Drift is really 2 things. It's hard to narrow it down to just one, but the competitors out there that we get to go against week in and week out, they're the best in the world, and that's not to be understated. It's the best guys that drift anywhere. And then the second one is the fantastic facilities and the racetracks that we go to. They're top notch. There's nowhere else you can go and be able to run full out on any given racetrack. So those 2 things, my favorite thing about FD. My favorite FD memory would have to be my first top 16 in St. Louis. That was just such a hard-fought battle of years in the making to be able to get to that point. We had just had disappointment after disappointment, whether me not driving good or the car breaking or whatever. So to finally break through and get that top 16 and then the landfall of success afterwards, that was my best and most fond memory. So my prediction for 2021 as far as our performance goes, we'll get on the podium at least once and finish better in points than we did in 2020. So 9th or better.
The clock is ticking there for Taylor Hull. Ryan, what transpired here during that break?
Yeah, so we are going to bring you guys back to a shot that allowed the judges to make a determination. It is a unanimous judgment on the fault for the collision that happened between Taylor Hull and Wataru Masuyama. So, Ryan, walk us through this, and for the production guys, we're going to have to scroll back so that the fans can see where the latest point of initiation is. Go ahead, Ryan.
As the cars are coming up here, right where Taylor Hall's car is now, that's the 3 cone. As he keeps going, you'll see the 2 cones. So those are the red and white hash marked panels on the fence line. And where that police car is parked, that's the 1 on the wall right there. And that's where the drivers need to initiate by. And you can see that Taylor is only getting to angle well beyond where that 1 cone is. Typically at a track that has grass on the side, we'd have 3 cones for the first one, 2 for the second one, and 1 for the last one. And that is for the drivers to know that they are approaching either an outside zone or an area on the track where they need to get the car initiated. Now here in Long Beach, we always use that 3rd marker where the police car is there at the opening of the wall as the latest initiation point. And that's where the drivers need to be sideways, or at least have been a good way through the initiation process, where the car should be at angle by that point. And you can see that Taylor is well beyond that in this situation, and unfortunately we have to put him at fault because he wasn't adhering to what the lead driver is supposed to do in that area. Now in the chase position, like I was saying earlier, Masuyama, in his defense, he's supposed to be getting on throttle so that he's going to be staying with the lead driver, but in that case he couldn't predict what Taylor was going to be doing in that situation, because Taylor initiated very late and he also got the car to angle very slowly. So that situation, it's very unpredictable for Masuyama, and Taylor Hall is not performing the lead driver responsibilities.
Oh man, thank you so much, Lontaine, for elaboration, and you can see the clock ticking. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So let's just throw it down to Lorette Nickel. Lorette, what's up?
Hey, thank you so much. The broken, it's a left rear knuckle that's broken. The team working really hard. We have 30 seconds that's still on the clock. Taylor, I know that you guys are working really hard on this. Do you have the possibility of getting this fixed?
No, not in this amount of time, I don't think. It's obviously really frustrating. I'm going to have to go back and look at the video and see what happened and everything, but just unfortunate to have the contact that early in the run, and pile it into the tire barriers is no fun. Regardless of how this turns out, the car's still torn up pretty bad, and sucks to go out like that.
Well, the team's still working really hard. Unfortunately, guys, the clock just ran out.
Oh man, unfortunately, you just obviously unfortunate turn of events there for Taylor Hall. Thank you, Lorette, and unfortunately Taylor Hall not making it in time, and Masuyama will need to complete his run in order to get the advancement into the 16, but bummer, turn of events. As Jonathan Hurst and Brandon Sorensen are on the start line, and 2 gentlemen, Brandon Sorensen talking to his spotter Rick, and he was talking about Brandon, a lot of confidence coming in here, just 17 years old, a young, rising star here in the Formula Drift circuit and championship. Jonathan Hurst, watch this thing. Get ready to plug your ears. The Cash Racing turbocharged LS G37 coming into view here of the judges. Now into that first outside zone. There he goes, pop, block, and drop it. Into that outside zone, they're touch and go. Now into the outside zone. Brandon Sorensen really deep, but then has to shallow up. Whoa, there was contact, but Hurst continues on. So both of them kind of having some wonky lines there, Ryan. That got a little hairy. Let's take a look at it again, Ryan. Just different perspectives.
First it was a touch and go,
Yep.
then it was the initiation, now it's outside zone 2.
Oh boy.
So we're seeing some carnage starting to appear here. A good start, and I love this approach here by both drivers. A great adjustment there by Sorensen. But you can see that Hurst gets into that second wall, the attitude of the vehicle adjusts, and then we see the contact, which turns into a collision, and we should parse that out. Contact, as it's defined in Formula Drift, means that the cars continue on in the battle. Collision means that they stop, or one of them stops. Here it is, outside zone 2 again. You can see Hurst gets into the wall, and on a tighter line there with Sorensen, and this almost seems like kind of a perfect timing, but not in a good way. As your compression, the attitude shifts, and Sorensen, the line that he's on is a tighter line that's pushing not towards the wall, but kind of past the wall, more parallel to it. And then you see both drivers make contact there. It turns into a collision because Sorensen stops. So obviously the judges will have to assess fault there. It looks like the cars are quickly going back to the line here for run number 2.
Yeah, really interesting there. A lot of fans tuning in across the globe. Dimitri Brutsky watching. Becky Evans, how's it going? Also, if you're here in the building, be sure to stop by Lean Customs Pins. Lean Customs Pins, break time, come over, grab pins for $15. All your favorite drivers at Lean Customs, head on over there. Also AEM, Suavecito, they're giving out haircuts and squash scented pomade. Yeah, that's what they got over there. It's pretty sick. You know the JDM squash air freshener? They have hair product that smells like squash, so go check that out. All right, Brandon Sorensen, the 212 Performance BMW. Jonathan Hurst, Koenig wheels on the corners.
Just talking to the judges, Jared,
Yeah,
it looks
what's
like that Sorensen is going to be at fault there, and the line was really problematic on outside zone 2. So he is going to be at a disadvantage here, at least in the initial discussions. Looks like we got some track workers out there trying to make sure there's no more debris. Let's get a look at it again.
Oh, it's like they're going? There's a dude on track.
So there's a mistake. There was a mistake there from Hurst on the second outside zone, but when we focus in on Sorensen and we see the line, he's already on a tighter line here, right? And then right there, see how he's not pushing out towards the wall, but he's more kind of going parallel against it. And then that's where we see the contact that turns into a collision happen there. And so I think the judges got that one right. We will see the second half of the battle, but it will most likely be with a disadvantage to Sorensen.
All right, well, with Sorensen leading. All right, looks like we got the track clear. Track is clear, and we are clear to send. So Hurst and Sorensen, again, a lot of confidence for Sorensen coming in, getting a tussle with the wall that kind of, I think, rocked his world a bit. Stands are filling up, man, loving it. Loving this vibe. Thank you so much for joining us either online or in the building. Lights are on, extinguish, it's go time. Send it. Brandon Sorensen out front from Las Vegas, 17 years young. Jonathan Hurst, Paducah, Kentucky's own. That Cash Racing next tire. 7 upcoming. Big angle there, Brandon digging deep. Get that touch and go. That bumper goes flying off. Now into that second outside zone goes Sorensen. Plumes of smoke coming off that BMW. And Jonathan Hurst in that loud G37. The All-American, sounds like fireworks and gunshots all at the same time. Let freedom ring out of the G37. Let's take a look at it again here.
Second half of the battle here, Sorensen trying to mount a comeback, but Hurst aggressively getting into the pocket right out of the gate. Sorensen into the wall. We're seeing so many drivers coming back across the course. Tries to get to outside zone 1. Hurst keeping the pressure on, staying out of that smoke line, just in it for a second as he transitioned through. Surges forward, does hit that inside clip, but not an overly aggressive hit. I think that the judges will see that as a slight mistake, but they will like the overall approach here by keeping the pressure on. You can see he was trying to, it took a while for him to kind of get balance. He was wavering a little bit. Now he's trying to reel in Sorensen, who's having a pretty good lead here on his half of the battle. And you see that compression there at inside clip 1. Both drivers through that final section and past the finish line. But we do have an incomplete on the first run, so that is going to be a major overall factor in the outcome.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sorensen, that's going to be a battle wound there for him. So that looks like Jonathan Hurst will get the win. Jonathan Hurst gets the win. The Cash Racing G37 on Nexen tires gets the victory and moves on. Brandon Sorensen unfortunately knocked out. So just a couple more battles left, literally, and housing some contenders in the championship. But also we got to go back to Masayama. All right, let's see Masayama send it. That Buy Now Japan Sylvia S15. All right, Masayama will get the advancement here with Taylor Hull unfortunately unable to fix his vehicle in time. So I'll lay out and listen to the Buy Now Japan. Toru Masayama. that turn and burn. That will mean that Masuyama gets the advancement to top 16. Masuyama will be going against Ryan Turk in the top 16. All right, look at how this bracket is shaping up. JTP versus Forsberg, Hughes versus Castro, Essa versus Mohan, hasn't seen top 16 in 3 years. Yoshihara versus Odi Bakshis, Osbo and Jeff Jones, Ryan Turk versus Masuyama, and Denofa versus Hurst. 2 more battles left to fill those final 2 spots. Matt Field versus Kazuya Taguchi, and Vaughn Gittin Jr., our defending champion, going against Rome Charpentier. First up, we'll see the beast from the Bay, the 777, that Falcon Tires, Boyle exhaust, Lucas Oil, Heat Wave, feeling the heat wave. The boys cheering them on. They're down there at the OC Sand Show right now, Justin and the Heat Wave fellas. And of course, Park Shop Max. We are clear to send. Matt Field will lead, Kazuya Taguchi giving chase. Matt Field qualifying 6th. Kazuya Taguchi qualifying 27th. And Kazuya not looking like the progressive Taguchi that we've seen in qualifying. Had to go grab one of those final 3 spots, 7th spot, as Matt Field now comes in. Using all the course, gets out to the touch and go. With a nice, good, even keel here. Nice angle from Matt Field. Kazuya Taguchi has to drop back and then up garage ISR 86. Now wrapping around that final front flip. Matt Field with some precision driving there. You know, I think Matt's playing a tempered approach here. You know, he knows that Kazuya qualified low. Maybe he's having some problems. He didn't go for the big bumper tap, and that's, I think, strategy. I think it's a smart way to play it.
Whatever it is, a Field got bumped by Taguchi, I'm pretty sure, after outside zone 2, and it didn't even phase him one bit. They may want to take a look at the car. But yes, this is not a 100-point qualifying lead run, but it's strong. Right there, you see, I think there may have been front right wheel rub or bump on Matt Field's car, but it didn't seem like it affected him at all. It would just be more of a mistake against Taguchi. All right, so let's focus on Taguchi's chase now. Starts off pretty good here. He's following Matt like a moving clipping point, but he reduces the angle behind Matt at the touch and go. And here he surges forward. There you see what appears to be a little bit of a bump, and that does get him out of whack. It caused him to fall off a little bit, lose some angle, and have to kind of re-engage in the overall battle. So now we will switch things up once Field looks at the vehicle. Okay. Yeah, they are gonna give a look at Field's vehicle to make sure that there are no broken parts. And we may see the second half of this battle after Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Rome Charpentier. But here it is one more time, Jared. You'll see tighter line. Look at the front of his vehicle was actually surpassing Field for a little bit. Then you get that rub, and that causes Taguchi to become unstable at that point and have to essentially re-engage on the last portion of the track, which is not so much left. You got the touch and go, and you've got that inside clip.
All right, so the replays continue. And what comes into play here, Kazuya with the contact, like you said, Matt may need to repair his vehicle. So again, Ryan, this is where we talk about those decel areas. That is not a decel area, so if Matt Field slowed down too much, kind of throwing up a roadblock for Kazuya Taguchi. Not speculating that's the case, but I believe that's what the judges are elaborating on.
Yeah, what you're seeing here is something kind of like Odi Bakshis and Vaughn in Erie, right? What determines a decel for the judges is whether or not it can be seen. It's a visual decel. And one of the contributing factors is you're going to take a look at the chase driver and you're going to say, well, is the chase driver on the right line? Are they on a tighter line, and are they gaining ground quicker because they're on a tighter line?
Now, Taguchi is on a tighter line from there to there before the hit. So I think that that's going to be, in my mind, that's playing a contributing role. Whether or not, sometimes you'll have smoke decreasing, and it can mean that the car is losing momentum. But we know how crazy these cars are and how differently they behave. That's why the visual decel is the standard. The judges have to actually see something visually that they can point to that says that car is slowing down when it shouldn't be.
All right, Ryan, we are getting clarification here from the judges. They are saying, one of the judges are saying it's shared fault, both Kazuya, and so that's basically like a one more time, essentially. And then two of the judges are saying Kazuya Taguchi is at fault, so meaning that Matt Field will be allotted time to get hands on his vehicle without utilizing his competition timeout. So he is going to get ample time to take a look at his car, get it right, rubber on rubber contact. We saw that earlier. So again, not utilizing the NGK competition timeout. Matt Field's going to put hands on the car. Kazuya Taguchi, if he wanted to fix his car and put hands on his, he would need to utilize a competition timeout.
Yeah, so this is, I think the first time this year we've seen, maybe first or second time this year we've seen shared fault.
Yeah.
And as you explained it pretty well there, it just basically means that one of the judges thought that both drivers had done enough for it to be considered shared fault. Now, the fault is going to have an impact because obviously Taguchi was affected by what happened, and whether or not you think it's his fault or Matt's fault is going to determine, how the result may be influenced.
But because they both completed, Kazuya had to step back, but they both completed a run and didn't come to an abrupt stop.
Nobody's getting an incomplete, right? It's going to be, we're going to be judging the run as if it happened, but as a judge, you'll have to say, oh, because I gave Taguchi fault, that's going to be a deduction on him, versus in the shared fault situation, it's going to be more 50-50.
All right, so Kazuya Taguchi will make his way back to the hot pit area. Maybe he's saying, all right, I'm going to utilize this comp timeout right now. The great looking up garage ISR 86. One of many you could go by and pick up a pin of his vehicle either at his booth or the Lean Customs booth. $15, your favorite FD vehicle. And Kazuya, I'm seeing a spotter come over here. Kazuya Taguchi spotter saying, yeah, he will utilize his competition timeout. I think that's great strategy, knowing that, hey, don't want to cause any damage. We have Irwindale in less than a month, or just about a month, excuse me. All right, next up, what was to be our final battle will not be. We'll see the second half of the Field and Taguchi. Right now, it is Vaughn Gittin Jr., defending champion and two-time champion, piloting the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5, the professional fun haver, Vaughn Gittin Jr., going against the garagistic BMW of Rome Charpentier from La Costa, California. And we are clear to send. Matt Sopa on Europa, keeping it clean, starting the lights, purging the nitrous, thumbs up all around. Here we go. Physical Facebook, like it with a thumbs up, and we're ready to send it. Here we go, boys. Gittin and Charpentier. Vaughn Gittin Jr. comes out swinging like a title bout. Coming into view of the judge, the naked eye, out to that. Touch and go. He does touch and he does go. Rome Charpentier not backing down. Nice job by Rome. As he throws, takes a little angle out of it to gain proximity around that final clip. Rome knocks it out. A great approach there by Vaughn Gittin Jr. Rome right there hanging out in the shadows.
Vaughn, that may have been one of the better wall-to-wall runs that we've seen in top 32. Vaughn gets out to the touch and go, taps it, but the adjustment to the attitude of the vehicle was not bad, and then he goes really deep into outside zone 1. Very consistent to outside zone 2, but Rome is keeping the pressure on. He came up a little bit tight on that inside clip, and this is a good battle here overall. Let's take a look at it one more time from this angle. Vaughn get back on throttle, and there is the tap, but you can see the attitude pretty stable, but tremendous job on outside zone 1. And 2 gets pretty deep out there, maybe could have been a little bit closer. So there's some areas here where Rome can take those lessons learned into account for his lead run. But a nice battle in the top 32 here, our final one after we get through with our previous run there of field and figuring out what's going to be transpiring there. We've got one judge saying shared fault, and the other two going with Taguchi.
Here we go. Rome Charpentier will now lead. Vaughn Gittin Jr., the chrome nose. Vaughn Gittin Jr., busy man, going from off-road to on-road, Mustang Week, Ford Fest. He's doing a lot of things. And Rome Charpentier, always busy, always got a smile on his face, and it looks like that will be, is that a restart? He hit a cone? Oh, so Rome Charpentier waited a little too long, and Ryan, you talked about that earlier. When the lights extinguish, you give it kind of a 1, a 2, go. You know, kind of give it 1 beat and go. If he bulks, you know, we're using a stick and ball sport reference there, but a little too long.
Yeah, and we've had that demonstrated to the drivers a number of times when things like this have happened. So the beat and a half, 2 beats is pretty consistent.
A 1, a 2, go. All right, so Rome Charpentier back at the start line. And there we go. Good timing. Make sure no cones hit. Here we go. Garagistic BMW out front. Rome Charpentier. His family cheering him on. Here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr. into that first outside, that touch and go. Under the bridge. Rome going deep. Vaughn Gittin Jr. Great proximity. We'd like to see him a little bit deeper. Let's see how they transition into that final front clip. I mean, Rome putting it down. That was a solid lead run, and I was surprised that Vaughn, it didn't seem that he was as aggressive as I had anticipated.
It feels like the lead driver, if they really just push the pace on outside zone 1 and 2, they get such a huge advantage. And Rome, starting off on this touch and go, is like, yeah, you know, you went out there, but I can too. And he gets right there, right on the wall. But he's not as close as Vaughn was on outside zone 1. 2 was pretty similar, but he went a little bit longer in the zone than he should have. We see Vaughn backing off, trying to surge forward here. And they finish up the run through that last inside clip. Rome, I like the way that he's using the angle to slow down. I would have liked to see him get set a little bit better when he got that angle coming out of the initiation. Vaughn is keeping the pace very well in the chase position. Just a slight little hiccup there on this last little section. Both drivers get around that inside clip. We don't see that compression there. We've seen quite a few incidents in that final inside clip. And there may be a slightly bit more angle from Rome in the lead position on that last little move towards the final clip there.
This would be a major victory for Rome going against this 2-time champ. So much history here. 2004, that's how long Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s been competing, but just a great effort by both drivers. Shout out Mike Russo there. What up, doggy? See you grabbing the shots. Waiting for the results here. Do we have results? Are they going at it again? And waiting for the outcome here.
Okay. This one's causing some pondering, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what you're noticing?
Yeah, it's causing pondering, and here we go. So it looks like Vaughn Gittin Jr. Rome, was that what you said? A 1 more time, and a 1 more time.
Making it real clear.
Real quick. All right, so.
What happened? You did not vote that way?
And as just some clarification there, the majority rules here. All right, so it's a 1 more time here. Lantain, going down to you, buddy.
Yeah, it was just, a lot of similar driving from both cars, and I didn't find that one driver was especially dominant in either position. Just want to see them go again. It wasn't that there were any particular errors from either driver. I think we're getting a side-by-side now. You can see they both get out to outside zone, or touch and go 1. They tap there, They both do a pretty good job on outside zone 1 as well, and 2. Proximity is there from both of them. In the chase position, they both kind of cheat the line a little bit to maintain proximity. Nothing major from either driver really stood out. It was really just a kind of similar battle in both runs. So I'd like to see them go again and see one driver really push the envelope a little bit and show that they are, they should be getting the win over the other driver.
And I got to tell you, this is a big confidence booster for Rome Charpentier. This is a Vaughn Gitt Jr., 2-time champion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big confidence booster at this unforgiving track.
Yeah, I think Vaughn could have maybe clinched the win there had he put on more pressure at the beginning. From initiation to touch and go to outside zone 1, there was a little bit of space that he left. It almost seemed like he felt that he had an advantage after run 1 and that he didn't really need to push that hard in run 2. And you could see that his line wasn't really as deep as Rome's in the touch and go or outside zone 1 in the chase position, just like Rome's wasn't as deep in outside zone 2 in the chase position. So they both gave up a little bit here and there. We really like to see one driver really push in both positions and show that they deserve the win.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, just no offense to Rome at all. I looked at this like, Vaughn was kind of the bigger arm. He's been working out. He's kind of jacked, the bigger arm. It's an arm wrestling match, and Rome just finessed him a little bit. He pushed back.
Yeah, and it's I think there's a lot of calculation that comes from these teams talking to their spotters up here who are keeping an eye on what's going on for them from our perspective, and perhaps a conversation happened there where maybe Vaughn wasn't aware of how close it was after that first run, and he didn't feel he needed to push too hard. But from our perspective, had he pushed harder, he could have potentially taken that win.
Right on. Thank you so much, Fontaine. As we focus now on the second portion of this battle, like Ryan Sage was saying, there was contact made. Kazuya Taguchi was at fault. He called his comp timeout. Matt Field, he continued on through the course, but they both did complete, so it wasn't incomplete on either side. And also, keep in mind, Matt Field is our current points leader by a significant amount. I mean, I think it's less than 20, more than 10. I believe it's 15. I don't have the points right in front of me right now, but Matt Field is currently our points leader going against Kazuya Taguchi. This has major implications on if he advances, because all the other contenders, second through fourth, Chelsea Denofa, Frederick Osbo, Ryan Turk are currently already in the top 16. All right, here we go with Kazuya Taguchi will now lead. Matt Field will give chase. The Up Garage ISR 86. All right, and we are ready to send cars. The lights are on. Remember, we did see the second half of this battle with Matt Field out front and Taguchi in the chase position. We got, looks like cone will be hit. That is a restart. That is a restart. So a cone is hit. All right, so let's get him re-racked. That's a strike 1 against Kazuya Taguchi here in that start position. Now remember, Matt Field could pace Taguchi and leave the start line before they extinguish, and the chase car can't hit a cone as well. We saw that earlier. Just that has no repercussions on a restart at all. Our current points leader, Matt Field, hopefully not letting this slip away. Kazuya Taguchi would love to play spoiler and shake things up, as Osbo, Chelsea Denofa, Ryan Turk, they're all watching on. Kazuya Taguchi initiates. Touch and go. Let's see how Taguchi handles it. How does Field? Taguchi slaps the base big time. Wall to wall by Taguchi. Matt Field, this is no pushover. Kazuya Taguchi finishes strong. Formula Drift fans, a great approach by Kazuya Taguchi. And again, just with every turn and burn, because this is not the Kazuya Taguchi that we saw yesterday in qualifying. Seems like he turned it up a level, because like I said, he had to go to the less than grade 8 in order to get that spot, which he qualified 26th 27th, very low. Not reflective of how he's driving right now. So you see Matt Field pedal back a little bit, takes a little bit shallower line, but does gain that proximity. Kazuya didn't get all the way out to that second outside zone. Now bringing around that final front clip, good execution by both drivers. So you saw Kazuya go wide around that. Matt mimicked that in the chase position. Let's take a look at a different perspective here. On initiation, Kazuya, watch him. Tap the taillight, dink, loses, shreds the bumper. Field didn't get all the way out to that first outside zone, but I'll tell you what, wheel to wheel, angle, good job by Matt Field. Again, it bears repeating, our current points leader going against Kazuya Taguchi. Taguchi would love to put a stop and progress on. Taguchi not a contender in the championship. Matt Field definitely piling that Falcon tires. Boreal exhaust, the drift cave, the head cave man. Do we have a result? All right, the BC Racing side by side. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift, go for gold, Ryan, as we see Kazuya leading on the right, Field leading on the left.
Must win here for Field, absolutely, in this championship chase. Can't have a 32 out. Taguchi has had a phenomenal season. We've got that shared fault on that first half of the run for one judge. Taguchi at fault, but it didn't end the run, so the run still was able to finish, and it will just be a matter of weighing those mistakes. A lot on the line here. It's been a really interesting return back to Long Beach in this top 32. A few crazy battles, and lots more to come as we get into the top 16.
Yeah, it's turning up considerably here. All right, here we go, going to the judges. Slide him left for Field, right for Taguchi, and there we go. Matt Field breathes a sigh of relief. Taguchi, a great effort, but I have to think that that Lantain, if you could get some words with you in regards to this. Again, major repercussions as far as the championship goes. Also, Taguchi, with that contact falling back, I think if he didn't fall back and that contact wouldn't have happened, I think this could have gone one more time.
But it just, you know, that's why we needed that side-by-side. It came down to that one error that he made in the chase against Matt Field, because that's how close it was.
You mean the BC Racing side-by-side graphic?
The
Go
BC
for gold, BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift.
I'm going to let you repeat that every time, but yes. The BC Racing side-by-side presented by
BC Racing.
BC Racing.
Yeah,
there we go.
Look, stay in your lane, Ryan.
I'm getting better.
I appreciate that. I always appreciate the judges' insight. All right, let's go back to the one more time battle. By no means is this David and Goliath, because Rome proved and that he is a force to be reckoned with. The Garagistic E36 BMW going against Vaughn Gittin Jr. Here we go, Vaughn leading and Rome Charpentier giving chase. Here we go, Vaughn Gittin Jr. coming into view. Rome knows, coming out, touch and go, slams into it. Adjusted a little bit of the attitude of the vehicle, digs really deep on that second outside zone. Look at Rome on the attack. Woo! Rome Charpentier saying, all right, here's a shovel. Can you dig it? And watch the attitude. Vaughn knows, like hopefully his spotter was listening. Lantain said, hey, man, it's no pushover, so let's see what you got.
Yeah, and Rome kind of came out swinging there on the second half of the battle, going right into the pocket, but Vaughn starts off being a little bit more aggressive this time, right up against the wall, taps the bumper deep into outside zone 1, and this time really deep into outside zone 2. But watch Rome right here, surge forward. He takes a little bit of a shallower line, but he's able to get the car in a position where he doesn't slam over that final inside clip. I thought he made that look pretty good. It was cool to see it. He may have sacrificed a couple little things, but he gained proximity. Slight little attitude adjustment there for Vaughn on the touch and go, but man, look at that execution on outside zone 2. And here comes Rome surging forward, getting tight on that inside clip. So It wasn't perfect, but I like the approach. I like seeing that aggression, even if you have to sacrifice in another area. Really, really good run there.
Yeah, it's just great to see this, that progression, the aggressiveness, and man, just some exciting battles. And Ryan, guess what? We're only in 32. It was kind of just a nice trickle, cool, nice cruise Sunday, nice cruise in the park on a Saturday, but the plot really thickens. Like I said, Ryan, this second half of the 32, all of the contenders are on this right-hand side of this bracket, and it's showing up in spades.
Yeah, very high implications, I guess,
You love implications
yeah.
as a word. When you open a restaurant, it needs to be implications.
That's my new brand.
Yeah, implications.
Yeah, the perfume.
Yeah,
man.
Implications by Dior. What's it smell like? What's your favorite fragrance?
Sandalwood.
Okay, all right. I'm a big Nag Champa kind of patchouli guy.
Right on, right on.
Yeah, all right. It'd be a lot cooler if you did. So Vaughn Gittin Jr. looks like he's regardless of calling a comp timeout or not. Oh, he looks like he's headed back to the start line. So you see this. Again, the attitude of the vehicle disrupted a little bit, but not too much. And Rome's like, oh, dang, okay. Pounded bumpers. But this is where Rome says, turn it up.
Yeah, I think Vaughn's got a real opportunity because on the first half of the run, we do see a little bit of separation there from 1 to 2 with Vaughn and Rome. But on that section of the course, he completely closes the gap there. And, he looks like he makes contact with Vaughn. I think that's why Vaughn went to go back to check.
Yeah.
And I did hear one of the judges say that they would have given Rome fault there. But nothing of a judgment that could go negative for Rome is going to happen there. It's really just going to be, incidental contact.
Hey, shout out to our boy Jeremy Underwood. Give me a little shout.
Oh, no doubt.
Let's, send a shout out to Jer.
What's up, Jer?
Okay, there you go. Right on. Moving on. Not Overwood, but Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
So high, you can't get under it. So low, you can't get Underwood. Here we go. Rome Charpentier, Vaughn Gittin Jr., the second half of this battle. Who's coming out? There's a one more time. Are they going at it again? We got a clean start. Here we go. Rome Charpentier against the defending champion, Vaughn Gittin Jr. See how they handle the touch and go. Rome doesn't get all the way out there, but still very aggressive all the way into that first outside zone, and now into that second. Woo! Look at Rome, ready to go to market, taking out that inside clip. Ryan, tell you what, believe you me, the bright bluish shoe, ready to go to market.
Really loving the way that Rome has progressed. He's been such a great addition to the series. Going up against a veteran here in Vaughn Gittin Jr. Now taking his lead is Rome Charpentier, getting close to that touch and go, but not all the way out there. Better on outside zone 1. But see, Vaughn was able to establish from the onset that proximity, and the duration of proximity remained consistent, almost from start to finish. We had that surging attack from Rome, which was awesome to see, but did he have the overall proximity to follow the lead driver like a moving clipping point? It's now in the judges' hands as we finish our last battle of the top 32.
Oh man, my boy Pie Wolf, aka Brandon Epperson, watching. What's up? All right, here's our BC Racing Go for Gold side-by-side graphics. BC Racing official suspension Formula Drift side-by-side.
Here it is. You see Rome chasing him down. You'll see the surging attack is the main thing on this second run. And it could have gone really bad there, but great driving skills by him to navigate as far away from that inside clip as he could. Oh, results are in, Jared.
Slide him left for Vaughn Gittin Jr., right for Rome Charpentier, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. gets the victory. Congratulations to Vaughn Gittin Jr. And wow, our top 16 is finally forged. Just 12 minutes behind, but now's the time you get to cruise around. Go by the AEM booth. Again, squash scented pomade product. Woo-wee, Rick. Look at this beautiful weather, and here's the forecast of our top 16. It looks like on the left front, you got JTP, Justin Pollock with a cold front of Chris Forsberg, and then Dylan Hughes going against Dominican Republic's own Jonathan Castro. Michael Essa versus Kyle Mohan, Yoshihara versus Bakchis. Then that right side, you see Frederick Osmo versus Jeff Jones, Ryan Turk versus Wataru Masayama, Chelsea Denofa versus Hurst, and finally, ooh-wee, look at that, Field versus Gittin, our final battle of 16. Look at this. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mr. Dienda's neighborhood, that is. Round 7 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. This is the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach presented by Type S. We'll see you back here at 3 o'clock. That's just a little bit over an hour, just under an hour and a half. We'll see you back here in about an hour and 15 minutes for the top 16 driver introductions.